Welcome to the Puck Crew. I'm your captain, Camille, and I have my alternates with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
And today we are diving into chapters 5 and 6, 7 of the long game.
No. Guys, that's not cool anymore.
I was going to say I have it on good authority that the kids no longer find 6, 7 cool, which is mainly in part because of all the 20, 30, 40 plus year olds who were doing 6, 7 and like making fun of teenagers. It got so uncool with them because of us. Gang, applaud. We did it.
Woo! Someone is going to listen to this episode in like 5 years because the internet is forever and be like
what?
6, 7, God. What was
Yeah.
that?
7, 8, 9. So here are your spoiler warnings. Warning.
Yeah, I don't think I have any specific references to other books, but, you know, we might find them along the way.
Spoiler warning, there's gay sex.
Oh my God. Oh, where? I must have missed it.
Oh, we will spoil parts of the long game a little bit just because foreshadowing.
Just
Foreshadowing?
Foreskins, foreshadowing. Foreskin. Sorry. One. Just one.
Well, that's a spoiler, Camille.
Oh, man. That was the one thing I was looking forward to.
Robert,
God.
tell everyone about Patreon.
The $5 tier gets you access to a monthly live stream, as well as we get to send you a PITT or Puck Crew sticker. And the $10 tier allows you to tune into an extra bonus episode of whatever we're going to yap about that month.
Also, this is just a heads up. We are going to start running ads soon enough. We're still working on the logistics of all of that, but
Money
just
is
as a heads
hard.
up for you guys. Yeah, we have to get like the taxes and everything sorted, and we have to like fill out legal documents and actually form a partnership, which is insane. So
This is no longer about friendship. This is like legally binding now.
Yeah, we're going to each own 33.3% of the podcast, and the last 0.01% goes to my fiance, Mac, as we have discussed this.
when we start running ads, we will be adding ad-free to that $5 tier. We don't want to keep that at like an inaccessible. We're not trying to make you subscribe to $10 if it's not something you can afford, whatever. So we are going to have an ad-free option. And we do just want to give you guys a heads up. We probably still will not be running ads by the time that you hear this episode, but it will be coming soon. So we just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that, because the way that the ads work is that wherever you're listening is going to be putting in ads on their own. And we can't say we only want ads about these certain things. They're going to run whatever they want to run. But here's the thing. That's where you guys come in and you let us know. If you hear an ad for something that sounds like it's not something we would support, tell us like immediately.
Please.
So that we can then go and make that stop, because we don't want that happening. But it's kind of one of those things where you guys need to let us know if you start hearing ads that are not good. Let us know so that we can make them stop. We can kind of cultivate that, but we need your help with that. So, Mal, tell everyone about Etsy.
Yeah, we also have an Etsy shop. We've got some great new stickers coming. We have some bumper stickers. We have finally a PITT adjacent sticker coming. So all very
Not
exciting.
coming. They will be live once this episode is out.
there is now a PITT adjacent sticker.
Gang, remember when we were a PITT podcast? I mean, we still are. We just haven't like recorded anything for the PITT in a bajillion years. Although by the time this episode comes out, we will have uploaded our Emmy nomination thoughts.
Also, quick update. Our mascot, who is Kationek, I think is how you say it. Kationek. Shane Hollander, kitten in Russian.
Shane Hollander, parentheses, cat.
Cat. He's doing very well. And I did want to shout out someone on Threads, Nieli, I think is how you pronounce it. Nieli girl. She Venmo'd me quite a bit of money so that I could take him to the vet, which is absolutely bananas. I'm not going to say how much it was, but I woke up this morning and I was like, holy shit. So thank you to everybody who has chipped in for his vet care and all that kind of stuff. He's doing really great. If you follow us on Threads, I do post a lot about him and a lot of little updates and videos and pictures. So he's doing great. Mal got to meet him.
Yes, I was just accidentally at Camille's house for an entire week because my flights kept getting canceled. And I crashed out a little bit about that. My plans changing. So Camille did not see me at my best, but she still likes me. I think.
I was going to say, we have never felt more like sisters until we're definitely not lovers. I made Mal a tuna melt. She actually liked it.
I did not like the capers, though. So.
Oh my God, you are so obsessed.
Did you
with
guys
the
know capers are flowers? They're like flower buds.
Yeah.
And if you are on our Patreon, you could watch the live. It's actually posted after the fact. So if you want to subscribe and go watch it, you can. The whole journey was recorded. So I think that is all the housekeeping that we had. And then I also did just want to throw in before we jump in, if we ever say anything in an episode about like someone or something, and then I was thinking, empty netters. If we ever say something and then like something happens in the cultural zeitgeist and you're like, when you listen back, feel free to shoot us a message and be like, hey, y'all said this. Have you seen this thing? Please feel free to ask us because, things come out. Opinions change.
Things come out, opinions change, but you know what? Hey, I'm just going to say this because I'm so confident. I can't wait to talk to my living, breathing friend, personal friend, Mitch McConnell, who is definitely alive currently as we're recording and alive as we are releasing this episode. And I can't wait to hear from him.
I talked to him for 20 minutes earlier today about the jar fic. I think he was like stunned silent though.
I can't wait for what I just said to age beautifully. Anyways, let's get into chapter 5.
So chapter 5, we are in Montreal. It is still July of 2020. And I know Camille told me I didn't have to do the timeline updates anymore, but you can pry them out of my cold dead hands because we are also about to do a very major time jump here. Not as major as Heated Rivalry, but like we're going to skip several months, so I will still continue to update the timeline because the timeline is important to me. Thank you. Shane does not know proper concert attire. That's where we're at.
I also don't know proper concert attire. Usually what I do is I just wear whatever t-shirt I have, my jeans, and that's it. Like, yeah.
Do you know what I normally do before a concert? I cry because I try to find something really like cute or like sexy to wear, and then everything makes me feel hideous. So I cry. That's what I wear.
Yep.
Tears.
That's the female experience.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen this shirt in a while, but I picked up an AJR shirt a long time ago that just says the band's name here, and I wore that to a bunch of concerts, and people had a good laugh at that. Once I find that shirt again, it's over for you motherfuckers. I say, when's the next concert? I'm going to see MCR in like a month. Yeah. My Chemical Romance. We carry on. Anyway.
Fun fact, last time I went to a concert, across the bar, I saw someone wearing a shirt that had Robert's literal name on it.
It did, yeah.
And I ran up and I said, this is my friend's last name. It was a joke. It was like a pun. But I was like, I know that your shirt is a pun, but that's my literal friend's actual name. Can I take a picture of this?
Well, because Robert has the coolest last name of all time.
Neither is Ilya, by the way. He suggests a leather, what is it, like for a horse?
And Shane says, a harness, and shut up. I think it's very nice of him to help Ilya out with the English before he says shut up.
I also think that the issue is more that Shane doesn't know how to dress for a gay club. I think that's the pressure.
The last time I went out to a gay bar, I was in shorts and a t-shirt because I had just come from the Dyke March. And some girls in the bar offered us all fake mustaches. And so then I was in shorts and a t-shirt and a fake mustache in a lesbian
and Hudson
bar.
Williams was down the street.
That's like pure 2015 culture.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I had such a great time in my fake mustache.
Whatever my
10 out of
outfit
10.
entails when I go to like a gay club or a bar or something, I always make sure to wear, I have like a crocheted non-binary beanie. That's just a beanie in the non-binary colors. And I wear it so that like people can feel a little safer around me because I'm like, hello, hi, non-binary. I'm not man intruding on space. I'm not a man intruding on the space. I'm here. It's like the fucking SpongeBob thing. May I get hit by a flying ice cream truck and live?
Ilya then suggests that Shane could just wear a jockstrap and sunglasses.
Yeah, typical Pride outfit.
Yeah. No, honestly, a lot of these things are like, you can show up to Pride in a harness. You can show up to Pride in just a jockstrap. Like, people are out here doing that.
Ilya is wearing a tight, pale pink t-shirt, and it is a recent purchase, and he looks amazing in it. I just know the nipples are out.
Oh, yes. Shane asks, they didn't have it in your size, but Ilya's like, I know Shane is full of shit because the heat in his gaze is telling on him.
I love that sentence. The heat in his gaze is telling on him. I love that. I like the way that's written. It's great. And so Ilya tells Shane to wear something light. It's going to be hot in the club. So Shane is like, okay, fine. He's wearing black tapered pants and a gray linen shirt, which is so boring, but it's Hollander.
Well, he's Shane Hollander. He's boring.
Hollander. I want to be insane because I think I'm looking too much into this, but I want to be insane about the exact wording that Rachel chose in describing the scene in saying that Shane disappeared back into the closet. In a book that constantly, like from these first 4 chapters, in a book that's been constantly so far like, hey, there are issues. I'm like, I know, at least I think I know, they don't break up at the end, obviously. They get married, ? I don't remember. And so I'm not like worried about that. But like, if I went into this book completely blind, I would have been like, maybe foreshadowing potentially. Because I feel like there have been other more nonchalant ways to say Shane went back into the closet to get an outfit.
Even if that's not what was intended, it's still very much like, this is art and you can interpret it, because there are certain things that I know like very much probably are not canon, but in my brain it's a harmless thing to like imagine for myself. And so like I'll bring up a couple of them, but it's interesting to me that you can just like interpret things the way you like, and it brings a whole different meaning and weight. Like that is art.
That's what engaging with media is. It's like you're looking at things from your own experience and giving things the meaning that like you want them to have. And like in some cases, people are applying meaning that is wrong. But in other cases, it's like it doesn't actually like you can think this thing, like it's harmless. It doesn't change the story. So
actually, gang, I think I'm full of shit. I think the curtains are just blue. Anyway.
Well, or maybe not. Ilya tells Shane he looks hot and that he'll be thinking all night of what he wants to do to him later. And Shane says, let's at least get to the club before you start making me want to leave. And I'm like, no, Shane, baby, you already want to leave. Like, you don't want to be in that club.
You're Shane Hollander. You're no fun. And also, these are God's strongest soldiers holding off, but they are both standing at attention.
Shout out to
the gays.
The gays, but more specifically, the gays that date each other that are the like social butterfly and the introvert who doesn't want to go out, because that's my relationship. And God bless my fiance. I love him so much. He will deal with any like big hangout, and at the end he'll be like, I just want to go home and get Taco Bell. I'm like, I love you, pal. Let's do that.
Pal.
Yeah.
So Ilya says that he has heard that Fabian is very good, and he heard this from Harris, who is, and then Shane interrupts him and says, the social media guy who I haven't met, but you can't stop talking about, the adorable gay one. You did say he was adorable, right? And I'm like, Shane is jealous too. Oh my God. Oh no. Uh-oh.
And so Harris apparently invited Ilya to Fabian's show in Ottawa, but Ilya had to rest an injury.
Gang, is this injury referenced in any of the other books?
I don't think so, because there's no other book that covers that time, I don't think. And like, I think it's just something that wasn't really a big deal.
Rachel, you got to pump out another book that takes place in this time frame. Go for it. Go.
Pump.
Yo, pump.
And so Shane is kind of jealous that Ilya's being asked on dates with adorable gay guys to sexy music shows, but also like Ilya's kind of kissing his neck, and so he's not really mad about what's happening. And Shane says, is Harris going to be there tonight? Am I going to be in your way? And Ilya says, I don't know. Do you want me to text him?
We'll get a little bit more of it later, but my opinion of Harris and Ilya's relationship is that like this is a super flirty friendship where Harris just constantly gasses Ilya up, and then Ilya eats it up, and beyond that there's no attraction to each other.
And we'll see this kind of exact thing happen, but like I think they're definitely friends, and I think Ilya's excited to have an openly queer friend, like someone who is allowed to be queer in his life, because obviously Ilya really craves that kind of queer community, which is why, he shows up in all the books and is kind of the gay godfather. But I was also thinking, as Robert was talking about the couple with like the one that likes to go out and the one that's an introvert, and I was thinking about Shane and Ilya and Harris and Troy, and I was like, Troy and Shane are the we're going to stay at home. Harris and Ilya are the we're going to go out, we're going to party, and then we're going to come home to our boring boyfriends. Because like, hot take, I think Shane and Troy are actually very similar, and more on that to
you
come.
mean
but
our boring friends? Our boring friends are at home. Fabian's show is as sexy and mesmerizing as it was described to be, and it's even more sexy and mesmerizing to Ilya because Shane is next to him. But Shane is not as close as he would have liked, but he's still next to him. My note is a recurring note for me through these chapters. My note just says, hurt.
Agony.
Ideally, Ilya would be behind Shane with his arms wrapped around him, holding him close against his chest. Ilya would rest his chin on Shane's head and kiss his hair whenever he felt the urge.
So they are standing in the back with Ryan, and they're keeping him company because he is too tall to stand anywhere else. So he's like, I usually just stand in the back. And Fabian is described as being magnetic and beautiful and outfitted in white pants and gold jewelry. And Ilya tells Ryan that he's beautiful, and Ryan's like, I know.
Yeah. And Ryan is described as looking bouncer adjacent because he's like wearing all black and he's large.
Ryan is bouncing on it? Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No.
I've only read Tough Guy like twice, so I can't actually remember the details of their sex life other than other things. So I can't confirm or deny. Anyway, Ilya thinks that Fabian couldn't have a better protector. And Ilya kind of looks around and is like, wow, it must feel powerful to know that everyone in this room wants your boyfriend. And quote, the smile that curved Ryan's lips was the most sexually charged expression Ilya had ever seen on the shy man's face. It does.
Bruh.
Not another couple using work as foreplay, because that's what Shane and Ilya do.
I just love it when freaks match with freaks. It's my favorite thing.
Now, this quote drives me absolutely nuts. It says, he glanced at his own boyfriend who was watching Fabian intently with his arms folded. He may not be on stage looking like a glittering diamond, but he was achingly beautiful. The sharp line of his jaw and straight slope of his nose and profile were more fascinating to Ilya than anything else in the room.
And I said, simp, pointing emoji.
We don't really get description of this of Shane in a heated rivalry, but like this feels new and fresh. And I'm trying to remember back to how Ilya would describe Shane in heated rivalry, and it was mainly just
Pretty.
pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that they've been together for 3 years, Ilya mixed his simpness for his boyfriend with Shane's police sketch description abilities into this perfect combination of the two.
And Ilya wants to touch him so bad. Here's another quote to hurt you. Sometimes Ilya was so starved for touch, he felt like screaming. He felt it most when Shane was close, like he was now, but off limits. Ilya used to go to clubs like this one all the time, in just about every NHL city. He'd find someone he liked, make out with them, then go home with them. Sometimes he would skip the club and just text one of his regulars, depending on where he was.
My note, again, says hurt.
He didn't miss that. Not really. He was devoted to Shane wholeheartedly, and their sex life was beyond anything he had experienced with another person. But he missed being touched. He missed the endorphin rush he used to get from hooking up with people, and how relaxed he'd felt after. He missed meeting new people, talking to them, and charming them. Most of all, though, he missed the comfort he got from the human touch. Right now, in this club in Montreal, he wanted that comfort from the man he was in love with.
Missing the comfort of human touch. Shane Hollander, you touch your man right the fuck now.
Say it with me, folks. Hurt.
Yeah.
I have hurt. Okay, so my idea here, my take from this is that Ilya misses that rush. He also misses winning someone, right? He misses not knowing if he's going to win. He knows with Shane he's always going to win. He's always going to go home with him. Right?
The winner takes it all.
True.
Ilya misses that rush. His brain is used to that rush, and that's he's not used to having something steady and committed, even though he's been in this relationship for years now. I think the summertime is where they both have those struggles of like, oh, we can just like snuggle into each other and like kiss each other when we want to during the summertime. Mm-hmm. But now, they're coming to the point where it's going to be like, oh, we got to split up, like we're getting closer and closer to the end because they're going to have to go to training camp and all this other kind of stuff. And so like, this is pretty common for people who were like abused in their childhood to not be used to calm. Mm-hmm. You're used to that rush and that noise. So you're like, where's that noise? Yeah. And so I also find I like seeing a bit more of like this even split on comforting each other though. Right. So like, I like that Ilya is thinking, I want the man that I love to comfort me right now instead of I need to be distracted from my feelings by this person. He's thinking, oh, hey, person I love, comfort me.
Growth.
Instead of distract me. So the quote continues, he took another step towards Shane, closing the slim gap between them again. This time, he trailed a fingertip down Shane's arm from his elbow to his wrist. Shane flinched and stared at him with wide, questioning eyes. What? He asked. Kiss me, Ilya wanted to say. Kiss me and hold me in front of all of these people. Pull me on stage and do it. I don't care anymore. Please, I'm dying. Nothing, Ilya said, and stepped away. Nothing.
This is another instance of Ilya needing something and not telling Shane.
I'm dying?
Yeah.
I'm dying. Quote, I'm dying.
We're dying, we're crying, we're what's
Crying.
another ing?
We're
crying.
crying.
We're dying. What's
I
another
was thinking
ing?
about how we get more like Irina in this book than we do in Heated Rivalry, even though she's not actually there, she's in dreams. And at the same time, part of me is wondering if Ilya is also dreaming about his mother because he's starting to understand her on a deeper level without
Maybe
realizing that he's understanding her on a deeper level. Deeper level.
Deeper webble.
Hurt.
Now we switch over to Shane's POV.
And Shane is so turned on, he feels like he's going to burst into flames. Ilya's over there yearning. Shane, horny as fuck. So, quote, he wished he could grab Ilya and pull him closer, kiss him against the back wall of the club until they were both panting. But he didn't mind waiting. The forbidden aspect of their relationship, the discipline it took to hide how hot they were for each other, still did it for Shane. It was sexy.
No, Shane. Bad Shane. You're supposed to have moved on to the next phase, you dumb fucking jock. What is happening? He's not thinking of them as a couple in this moment. He's thinking of himself as Shane and Ilya as Ilya Rozanov in a way. And I'm like, stop. Because he's like creating this world and speaking about, and I'm like, you're manifesting that you will never not be a secret.
Which definitely kind of bastardizes a scene or as a part of the sex scene later on where he's like, oh, I love when he calls me Hollander like the old days.
So I feel like Ilya and Shane, you know, years down the line, they've been happily married for years. I feel like they would be that couple who like gets very into role play, and like Ilya would have a lot of fun approaching Shane in a bar and like pretending like he needs to flirt with him and like take him home. Like that feels like what Shane is talking about here. Like I think he finds this sexy in like a role play sense, and like a this has always been sexy to me, but also not in like a this is what I want our relationship to be. And I think he's just not, like, he's not differentiating that.
But I think that for me, the hang up here is that I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking, yes, but it's not totally role play.
Yeah.
Because it's just straight up what they are doing and what they've always done. And that's why it's a problem, is that Shane's like, hey, this is sexy. This is hot. I could do this forever.
Meanwhile, Ilya's like, I'm exploding on the inside. I just want to say out loud, I just want to tell the Tim Hortons employee that it's me and my boyfriend getting coffee. Like, is that so hard?
Yes.
I just want to tell the art dealer that he's my gay roommate and that I'm also gay and that maybe we're fucking.
So, yeah, the quote continues. Here in public, Shane didn't mind pretending they were two bros hanging out with their retiled...
Retiled? What are they retiling?
Don't retiled NHL playoff plan.
Shane didn't mind pretending they were two bros.
He's sitting in a hot tub, 5 years
Bro.
pregnant and not gay.
Hanging out
Bro,
with
do
their
you just come in your
retired...
shorts, bro?
Shane
Retired?
didn't mind pretend... Shane didn't mind
I
pretending...
also want to interrupt Val.
Okay. Hanging out with their retired NHL player friend. He didn't mind keeping his hands to himself because he knew as soon as they were alone, they would thoroughly take each other apart and it would be perfect. Their reward for a job well done. Shane just wants a little treat, a little reward. Shane thrived on that sort of thing. But fuck, Ilya looked hot tonight. That tight pink t-shirt was just barely holding itself together, stretched tight across Ilya's muscular chest and shoulders. That fucking loon tattoo staring Shane in the face, practically a brand on Ilya's skin. Mine, Shane thought. The world doesn't need to know because I know.
Shane, there's more than one person in this goddamn relationship.
Yeah.
Ilya needs people to know. It doesn't matter if you don't need people to know. Ilya does.
And I need to compare their italicized thoughts, right? Because they both have this like italicized, this is what I'm thinking thing. And so Ilya's was, kiss me, hold me in front of all these people, pull me on stage and do it. I don't care anymore. Please, I'm dying. Versus mine. The world doesn't need to know because I know. And so they're both saying like, fuck the entire world, but in opposite ways. Ilya's like, fuck what anyone else thinks. Like, I want everyone to know about this. And Shane is like, no one else needs to know about this because I know about this. And it's like, no!
Ilya's like, fuck everyone else. I don't need to prove my relationship to anybody in My Dinner with Hayden. And now Shane is saying, fuck everyone else. And Ilya's saying, I need people to know. I need you to love me out loud. There's been a shift. It's been a year since. And so there's this power in having someone tell other people that they love you. Tell people.
Tell people.
It matters when someone says out loud that they love you to other people. And you're like, oh, you didn't have to say that. Thank you.
This comparison, and it's not like 100% the case, but this comparison immediately brought back to mind the first like major comparison from Heated Rivalry, where Shane was often viewed as small, childish looking, et cetera, and Ilya was more mature, more grown up, had more experience, blah, blah, blah. And so while I don't think it exactly applies, I am still sort of applying the lens of like, oh, he's my secret. No one has to know. Haha, is like Shane still kind of being childish, quote unquote. And Ilya being like, I want to tell the world. I am so fucking ready. I love this man. Is him being more experienced, more adult, more mature.
I would almost say that Ilya's being more childish here, more childlike. Love me out loud, hold me, comfort me in a tangible way. And I think that the reason he feels safe to want that and to desire that is because he's in a committed relationship and he knows Shane now.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than acting indifferent to all of it, he can be like, I'm actually dying because I need you to touch me right now. And not in a sexual way. I need you to hold me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the timing is really bad, I just got hit with this thunderstorm and I desperately need you to hold me. Imagine being surrounded in a club of people loving on each other. Your boyfriend won't even touch you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like out of nowhere your boyfriend won't touch you.
It's also not even like out of malice or hate or like they had an argument or anything. It's just this Shane's so used to it. He's like, hee, my dirty little secret. And he doesn't see anything wrong with it.
It's kind of ignited this like rockiness because of the fact that Shane looks at him and says, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious as to how other people read the what. Did you read it as like, what? Or what? Like, what is the underlying, what is being italicized?
I mean, I'm a Shane defender and I will defend this man with my dying breath. So I don't think it's like a malicious what. I think it's like genuinely he wants to know what is wrong? What do you need? And I think Ilya is not communicating. It's not that Shane isn't asking. Ilya is not communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big issue because like Shane is not a mind reader. Like, Ilya, you've been in love with this man for at least 5 years to make a conservative estimate. And like, he needs things spelled out, but you won't do it because you like can't believe that he loves you enough to like deal with all the shit that you're going through. Like, it's just, it's like the perfect shitstorm.
He won't get it.
Yeah.
If he asks for it, there's the potential for Shane to say no.
I also am thinking about the tattoo and how Shane looks at that and is like, he's got this brand on his skin that like says that he's mine. Like, I think in a way that is Ilya showing to the world like that he loves Shane, not in words, but like it is a tattoo for Shane. And so I think that Shane needs to get a tattoo for Ilya. And what would that even be? What kind of secret tattoo could Shane get for Ilya?
Because it has to be secret in the sense of it's on, like it's visible to everyone, but no one will know the exact meaning other than Ilya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lily, but...
I was thinking that, but then like also, I don't know. I don't know about that. That's a good question. I don't know. Listeners, I want to know what you guys would think about that. But I will say, I just had the thought that I wonder if this might not go over well with some listeners. Who knows? But I want to know what people think about this. Do you think this is accurate? Do you think I'm totally off? Be nice. Do you think that Shane, because he is not quite comfortable with the fact that he is gay, still in like the whole I don't dress like Fabian, so like I'm not gay kind of a thing, do you think that Shane is subconsciously fetishizing his own relationship because of the quote-unquote taboo of being gay and gay sex? He's fetishizing it in a way of like, it's hot because it's secret and he's branded. And I'm like, is that like a subconscious fetishization of his own relationship because he still can't be public about it? And so he's just like, it's naughty.
Interesting.
Am I way off, or is that just an interesting thing to consider?
I think you're onto something.
I think, yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to consider. I mean, I don't know.
And like, again, like we were talking about, like, you can interpret things in different ways. So like that doesn't have to be fact, but it is something that I think is interesting to consider, is that here, all these things that Shane is thinking are sexy are hidden. And like, why would you, call a tattoo a brand? A brand is a very aggressive thing compared to a tattoo. That's intense. Think about that. See if anything else kind of rings into that as we read, and maybe we'll find some other things and go, huh.
I mean, I definitely think the secrecy and the shame like very much affects the relationship, especially from Shane's side, because he definitely has more of that shame and desire to stay secret. So
I'll go one step further and say, is Ilya ever not horny? Is fetishizing Ilya when he does, which there are layers, and I'm not saying that's the only thing. I'm just saying that could kind of play into it, is that like your boyfriend desperately needs you emotionally and you're making it sexual.
That actually does lead nicely into the next point, where the next section where he's like, he wondered if Ilya was as horny as he was at that moment. He kept glancing at Shane sideways, so probably.
Yeah, so we'll get to this more when we talk about the was Ilya ever not horny of it all. But Shane constantly misreads Ilya's desperation for contact and comfort as him being horny, when like it's not that. It's more than that. But sex is kind of the only thing Ilya ever asks for, because he knows that he'll get that.
Yeah.
And so Shane is just accustomed to like that being the ask.
So like, it hurts me to think now that over the past 3 years, Ilya has not apparently expressed a need or a want for anything else.
Or was Shane not listening because over time he's learned more about mental health because of the camps. So he hasn't been as astute as, now I will say there are moments in this chapter I'm like, Shane is a good, compassionate, perceptive partner, and I will die on that hill. But what's he missing? And blame Ilya, right? Like, I can't blame Shane for misreading this, because Ilya's only ever displayed like the horniness, and he doesn't open up about needing more than that, right? He never says, actually, Shane, I would just like for you to hold me instead of sex. He doesn't ever say that.
I think part of it is that they get so little time together during the season. And so, I mean, like we saw in My Dinner with Hayden, and I'm trying not to like pull from things that I know are happening in the future as like my evidence, because we're not there yet. But
I know we're trying really hard not to spoil anything for Robert this time, now that it's actually all relevant. And we need Robert to pay attention, so
because there's another thing that I'm like, I wanna bring this up and be like, Shane's not a bad partner. But in My Dinner with Hayden, Ilya was so upset that they were losing one of their nights together, because he's like, I just want to be alone with my boyfriend, and I want to be able to like sleep together, essentially, because like they can hang out with other people, but like sleeping together is the thing that they can only do when they're alone. And so I think just like the lack of time that they get, they feel like they have to make the most of it, and they have to like spend as much time in bed together as possible. And so it's sort of become this like, not that like we're only meeting up for sex anymore, because there is still the emotional part, but I think the lack of time makes it so that like they're having to cram as much of the sexual part in every time they're together, and they're sort of overlooking some of the emotional parts.
I was thinking that last time we used sex to communicate, and this time we use sex to avoid communicating.
Yeah. And I think like Shane hasn't fully grasped the ways that he can be a good partner to Ilya beyond sex. Like, he knows how to be a good sexual partner because they've been doing it for so long. But it's just like
Ilya's not communicating.
Yeah.
No.
Shane can't hear if Ilya doesn't communicate. And at this point, I would like to coin a new term, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, that's what I said. You know, I was like, yes, like agreeing with you. And then my brain was just like, bunny bread. That's what I said. Bunny bread.
Bunny bread.
That's their slogan, is that's what I said. Bunny bread.
Oh.
And so I was
what
like,
is bunny bread? I've never even heard of this.
You ate bunny bread when you were here. It's that bread. It's a bread brand. Bread brand.
That's what I said. Bunny bread. Okay, bunny bread.
So bunny bread is going to mean ditto, basically. So yeah,
Okay.
bunny bread.
Well, and not to go backwards, but guys, this kind of feels like situationship behavior.
Back shots and backsliding. Yeah.
The way that they're acting right now, I'm like, this is not boyfriend behavior. This is situationship behavior.
Mm-hmm. Shane is not totally missing the mark here, but he like clearly doesn't understand what Ilya wants.
Yeah, but I mean, he does ask what, and Ilya says nothing. And so we get the insane lore drop. The last time they were in a club together was with Rose Landry. And so, quote, Shane had abandoned Rose on the dance floor, drawn to Ilya like a moth to flame, and had helplessly watched Ilya make out with a beautiful woman. And we learned that Shane did not go home with Rose that night, and instead had to pull his car over because he couldn't see the road through his tears.
I'd be crying too if I was gay and in love and banging Rose fucking Landry.
Well, yeah. He should have been going home with Rose, his gorgeous movie star girlfriend, not crying on the side of the road alone in his car over an obnoxious Russian hockey player. He'd been in love with him, though he'd refused to even consider it at the time. And so Ilya touches Shane's elbow, trails his finger down to his wrist. Ilya shouldn't be touching him like this. What? Sorry, what? I don't know how I want to say this. What? Hold on.
What?
Here, I'll say it. What?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
What? Shane
What?
asked.
Shane asked. Because there had to be a reason why Ilya would break their most important rule. For the briefest moment, Ilya's eyes looked sad and even a bit scared. Then he blinked, schooled his expression into something more neutral. Nothing, Ilya said as he stepped away. Nothing. That's the fourth fucking time he said nothing.
No, it's not. That's the same quote.
No, it's not. This is the
same
second
quote, but
time.
it's from Shane's POV.
Did Ilya touch him in his POV?
Yes, it's the same moment from Shane's POV.
Media literacy is dead and it starts with me.
Take a shot every time Ilya says nothing. I have my little drinky drink.
Oh, you're so right. No, he does touch Shane in his POV. Wow. I'm
He's
a
a
fucking
toucher.
idiot. Anyway.
He's a toucher. So Ilya looks sad and even a bit scared. And I'm thinking it's because he's almost expecting to be reprimanded by Shane. And that's why I read Shane's what as being like, what? It's almost like when a kid keeps pulling on your shirt and you're like, what? You know?
What do you want? What do you need?
What? Shane looks around, realizes that it's dark and that no one is paying attention to them. And then, before he can overthink too much, he steps closer, puts an arm around Ilya, and rests his hand on the small of his back. The quote is, "It wasn't much, but Ilya's whole body relaxed as he leaned back into the touch. He glanced down at Shane and gave him a small, grateful smile. Shane smiled back and traced a little heart on Ilya's back with his finger."
Ilya, you could have more of this if you talked to him. Maybe.
But also,
Ilya's next tattoo is going to be a tramp stamp heart, exactly where Shane just traced it on his back. I'm just saying.
I can't be too mad at Shane because he does, clock in and realize that Ilya needs to be touched in this moment. And, I think that's important. But I also just, he's so scared. He's so scared. He doesn't have to be you're in a gay club, guys. And Shane leaves his hand on Ilya's back for the rest of the concert and kind of feels like he's getting away with something, which makes me sad.
But so here's where my delusional headcanon comes in, is that I feel like if Ryan had noticed this at all, he probably consciously adjusted his body to block them from anyone else's view. Because it just feels like something Ryan would do, but he would never tell them that, but he would protect that little moment for them. And Ilya has just described him as being bodyguard adjacent. And so I almost feel that's probably something he would do for them.
I feel like in this moment, Ryan only has eyes for Fabian, though. But
no, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's my delusional headcanon.
it would be kind of funny if in season 2, every time someone's about to look towards Shane and Ilya or walk in on Shane and Ilya or discover Shane and Ilya, Ryan Precious comes out of nowhere and distracts.
So Shane throughout the night is getting more and more horny.
everything felt and sounded and smelled like the promise of sex, and Shane was losing his mind a little. How was Ryan not rushing the stage right now? Shane almost wanted to, but not as much as he wanted to grab Ilya's sweaty t-shirt and pull him into him. Shane wasn't the kind of guy who would ever fuck someone in a public place, but this was the most he'd thought about it.
This moment makes me think of Robert when we covered the last club scene because the room screamed sex and Robert went, sex! And that makes me laugh every time I think about it. I was reading sex! And I was like preparing these notes and reading, and I was sitting at work, and my coworker, I laughed, and my coworker looked at me, and I had to like play it off because I literally just heard Robert in my head going, "Sex."
I completely forgot that I made that joke. Guys, we've only been doing this podcast all together for a year, and yet it feels like we've been doing it for 40 anyways.
I don't even remember the things that I said last week on this podcast, gotta be honest. And so the rest of the quote is, maybe ending a week of celibacy with a concert by Ryan's sex sorcerer boyfriend hadn't been the best idea.
Bunny bread.
And Shane tries to sneakily adjust his pants so nobody notices his erection, but Ilya, of
He's
course,
pulling his cock
notices. No. Ilya mouths, soon.
He's stuffing his cock back in. Now they're in the car trying to get home. Ilya's trying to start the party, right? Shane is so horny that he feels drunk and he regrets being the one driving. And my brain was like, drunk driving this dick at your butt. But
Ilya has his hand on Shane's dick as he drives, and Shane says,
He's pulling his cock out.
Shane says it's not safe because he's driving, so then Ilya turns his attention to his own dick,
He's
and
pulling his
Shane's
cock
like,
out.
don't do that either. Like, just stop.
Shane, just put the fries in the bag, bro. Just drive.
no, it's so funny. I was just thinking, you have to change the stress. He's pulling his cock out.
Stop it, Shane said. Seriously, we'll be home soon. Not the way you drive. Shane's jaw tightened. I'm not turning this into a game. He did his best to ignore how hot the idea of trying to get home before Ilya came was. Shane loves a competition.
Can I? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about changing the emphasis, and now my brain is distracted.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
why
I'm
I
thinking,
did it that way.
I never said he's pulling his cock out. I never said he's pulling his cock out. I never said he's pulling his cock out.
Yeah.
I
my
never
God.
said he's
I remember
pulling
that.
his cock out.
I never said he's pulling his cock out. I never said he's pulling his cock out.
I never said he's pulling his cock out.
My God. Okay.
I'm gonna cry.
Stop it, Shane said. Seriously, we'll be home soon. Not the way you drive. Shane's jaw tightened. I'm not turning this into a game. He did his best to ignore how hot the idea of trying to get home before Ilya came was. Shane loves a competition.
Ilya's playing chess. Shane setting the chessboard on fire.
And Shane says, one of my favorite interactions, I'll get us home safe and then you can touch all the dicks you want. And Ilya says, how many dicks will be there? Did you invite some people? And Shane says, you wish.
This is honest to God one of the best lines.
How many dicks will be there?
It was fucking hysterical. It was also extra funny to me. It didn't turn out this way. It was extra funny to me that Ilya like put both his hands up, and he's doing it to be like, okay, I surrender. Nothing's gonna happen until we get to the house. But I'm like, he's pulling both his hands up. He's like, one cock, two cock. Who else is there?
Red cock, blue cock? Wait. No, he's got both hands up and he's like, don't worry, I'm not doing anything.
I think you would like it, Ilya said, having an audience. Shane wiggled against the leather seat. He really wouldn't like to be watched, but as a purely imaginary scenario, it fucking did something to him. Like, I'm not into that, but purely hypothetically, I'm really fucking into that.
Would you show me off? Shane asked quietly. He could feel the heat of Ilya's gaze even without looking. I would never stop showing you off, Ilya said. If I could. Fucking hell, Shane muttered. Shane, number one, stop being horny and pay attention to the context of what your boyfriend's saying. Number two, I love that Shane's fantasy about this whole thing starts and stops with the idea of an audience being there, of anyone knowing that he's there. He gets off more to the theory of it. Meanwhile, Ilya's pretty much coming to the thought of introducing Shane as his boyfriend to a CVS employee or something.
I'm like, Shane, literally, I think we all have about the same note. Is like, my note was all caps, Shane, listen to him. Really listen. He's not talking about sex.
No, he would never stop showing you off, sexually or otherwise. Like, let him show you off, Shane! They made it home and even got through the door before they crashed into each other, kissing and grabbing, trying to get closer while they struggled to get each other's clothes off. Ilya won that race, getting Shane naked and pressed against a wall with his hands pinned over his head. Hot. Ilya kissed him forcefully while Shane arched towards him, aching for more. Want, Shane murmured mindlessly as Ilya kissed his neck. You will get it, Ilya said in a delicious low rumble. This, I was a little bit like, I gotta take a lap. This is,
Mal is a lesbian who is for the gays. Mal supports the gays.
I do.
Gang, I'm just so happy. It's been 5 chapters, but we finally got gay sex. Their tried and true method for communication. I can't wait for after this sex scene for them to communicate about their feelings and wants and needs.
Yes, I can't wait for everything to be fine after this. Actually, the rest of the book is just one long, continuous sex scene. Ilya nipped at Shane's jaw. Tell me what to do. It was a power move for Ilya because he knew how awkward Shane got when he had to ask for things in bed. He was absolutely aware of the battle raging in Shane's head right now as Shane tried to ignore his embarrassment in favor of bossing Ilya around. Suck me, Shane tried. Like this? Ilya sucked at the pulse point under Shane's jaw, making Shane squirm. Don't, Shane panted. Be an ass.
I love the way you read that. Like this?
Like this.
So we have graduated from Shane being uncomfortable with sex with Ilya to Ilya coaxing him into it to Ilya now coaxing Shane into being more adventurous in sex. He's like, okay, now you're comfortable with the sex. Now let's get comfortable with broadening the horizons of all of it.
He's trying to teach Shane to communicate.
Ilya takes his clothes off and then drops to his knees. And all I'm imagining is that scene from, oh, fuck, what's that? Bruce Almighty, where Jim Carrey just takes all his clothes off in one fluid motion.
This thought just struck me. It's funny how Shane cannot communicate during sex and Ilya cannot communicate outside of it. I mean, really, neither of them can communicate outside of it, but Shane is better outside of sex.
Guys, what are you talking about? They're about to have sex. They're tried and true form of communication.
What are you talking about?
Who's pulling his cock? Anyway, he ran his hands over Shane's waist, hips, and thighs as he gazed up at him in a blatantly admiring way that made Shane preen.
Yeah, that's your man.
And then Ilya's slurping it, and we need a better blowjob equivalent of jorking it because
he's slobbing on that knob.
Yeah,
okay.
That's slobbing on that knob.
Ilya's schlubbing on that knob.
Speaking of knob, corn. Speaking of corn, it certainly has the juice. Moving on. He also grabs. Grabs.
He grabs him by the nape of his neck. He's like,
he also grabs Shane by the ass to pull him in deeper. We are committed.
Wild.
We're doing it raw. We are deep throating. We are wild, y'all. Jesus Christ.
So I listened to the audiobook on the car ride to a doctor's appointment I had today, these 3 chapters, and the car in front of me stopped abruptly around the time this scene came on and almost caused an accident. So the idea then came to me as I later drove off. I'm like, man, if the EMTs came to the scene of an accident and they heard this playing, that would have been very funny to me.
They came to the scene and came on it. Anyway.
Everyone's coming, the EMTs, Shane and Ilya,
my corpse, I guess.
Oh no. Mitch McConnell. So
I've said this story once before, but I did tell Mal and Emily, our Emily from Monster Donut, about my low-key, not actual fantasy of going into a burning building, saving people, and then dying. And then
You've
Emily
said
turned
it
to
on
me.
the podcast.
Yeah, and Emily is like, why don't you survive? It's your fantasy. And I'm like, yeah, it's more fun if I die.
Ilya tells Shane that he could make him come right now, and Shane says, don't.
and he almost means it. I love that it says Shane said almost meaning it. He's like, don't, but also do.
Don't.
I love, there was that one reaction image of Hudson Williams biting his fingernail, that smile, and then I found out it was AI, and now I can't use it anymore, but I think of that all the time, just the
And so Shane is thinking about how far away the bedroom is, looks at the stairs, and is like, yeah, we gotta hurry. And so they scramble up the stairs naked. They're laughing, holding hands, and I'm just
Dicks.
Dick's waving. I am just imagining that scene in the show in which they race each other up the stairs, and I'm that. I'm picturing that happening again, but also they're buck ass naked, and I love them. I'm crying.
We need another term like kickling, but it's laughing while you're dick swinging.
Swickling. Swickling.
Diggling.
Dingling.
Mr. Krabs, start diggling in your butt twin.
Start diggling, ling. start helicoptering. They're naked and laughing and holding hands, and they probably look ridiculous, but Shane doesn't care. He shoves Ilya against the wall at the top of the stairs and kisses him again. Oh, it's so
Hot.
good. Now, Ilya sits on the end of the bed when they get there and pulls Shane into his lap and kisses him fiercely until they both fall onto the mattress in a squirming tangle of limbs. And Ilya laughs into Shane's mouth and keeps kissing him. And Shane wonders if Ilya was as dizzy with happiness as he was. Sometimes he still couldn't believe that they were actually together, that Shane could have this. Moving on.
At this point, I put in the notes, guys, this sex scene is so long and detailed, and you make the lesbian do your notes.
And I put, quote, make.
Yeah, I did volunteer for this. And every time I'm like, God, this is so much.
Speaking of reading tone, I definitely read your note and I was like, guys, this sex scene is so long. Because I know that's how you were saying it.
No, and I think, like, in the beginning, I'm like, yes, this is so hot. This is so sexy. And then they start talking about dicks, and I'm like, oh, right.
Not only dicks, prostate, baby. We're touching it. So Shane goes to get the lube and is feeling around for a bottle among their growing collection of sex toys.
Before Mal has her question, I want to say, yes, a surprise Mascatool for later. Shane drags his hands along the various sex toys. I'm like, foreshadowing.
He's like, not the cock ring, not the plug, where's the lube? Anyway, moving on. Shane says, hurry. And they're both just impatient.
Because it's been a fucking week.
It's been a fucking week, and once the summer's over, they're going to have to go a lot longer without sex. But then this kills me.
But those weeks wouldn't be full of being close enough to Ilya to smell him. Wouldn't be full of hearing Ilya's unguarded laughter when he was playing with kids, or of seeing the way Ilya's eyes smoldered sometimes when he looked at Shane, when Ilya thought no one would notice, when he couldn't help it. Those weeks he wouldn't be sharing a bed with Ilya, listening to him breathe in the dark, and sometimes hearing him whimper. Ugh. He wouldn't be able to press himself against Ilya and kiss the back of his neck and whisper that he loved him.
Oh, so when Ilya's having nightmares, Shane is spooning him and kissing the back of his neck. Cool. I'm fine. Shane is a good perceptive partner. That he's literally hearing Ilya making sounds and like reacting to his dreams. And Shane is perceptive enough that he's like rolling over, spooning Ilya, holding him and saying, I love you, even though Ilya can't like consciously hear him in that moment. Shane is a good, caring, perceptive partner, and he knows what Ilya needs in that moment because Ilya is asleep, so he literally cannot communicate what he needs, except his body is involuntarily doing that, and Shane is picking up on that. When Shane is told, when Shane is communicated with, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, he gets it.
It's funny to me that we're talking earlier about how Shane is unable to read Ilya. Like, he's able to read Ilya's face and then misinterpret what Ilya wants, but he's able to pick up these minute details, these like little whimpers when Ilya is not talking to him and be like, oh, okay, I'll be here to comfort him. This is what he needs. This is what he wants. He doesn't need to tell me that.
I think that it's a lot of like Shane picks up on things and then Ilya's like, ooh, too perceptive. Like red shell.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I think sometimes Ilya is actively trying to nerf Shane's like understanding of what's going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
I also am picturing like Ilya having this nightmare about like Shane not moving fast enough and Shane like not being where he needs him. And then like in the real world, Shane is there like kissing the back of his neck. Just,
Yeah, that's insane. So the quote continues a little bit more and it says, when he thought Ilya wouldn't notice, when he couldn't help it, those would be different weeks. Right now, Shane needed everything he could get from Ilya. So Ilya calls him my beloved in Russian and says, so beautiful. Shane closes his eyes for a moment to let Ilya know that he understands him because Shane is learning Russian. Yay!
Yeah. And so it says Ilya couldn't hide behind his native tongue anymore when he wanted to be sweet and soft. It was something Shane had worked for. While Shane's teammates were playing poker or games on their phone on the plane, Shane was studying Russian. Enough, Shane said, also in Russian. I'm ready.
Ooh.
How hard do you think Ilya was the first time Shane busted out the Russian in bed?
I was about to say.
I feel like he may have just come on the spot. Like, just...
Great, look what you've done.
You know that scene in Toy Story 2 where Jesse does like the little loop-de-loop thing and then Buzz's wings pop up? That's about as fast as I'm imagining.
Yeah. I'm thinking about how he joked that he would teach Shane the important Russian phrases like harder and yes sir and stuff. And so I think that's what Shane prioritized initially. He was like, I need something that I can bust out. Yeah. I need to bust out the Russian the next time we're in bed. And I think Ilya was just like, oh no, I'm coming. Also, lest we forget, right? As this is happening, Ilya is 2 fingers deep in Shane, by the way.
Yeah.
Woo!
And Shane is bottoming his way to the top here. He's bouncing on it.
I actually like covered my face and shook with laughter, like silent laughter when I read that.
Just
bottom, straight to the top.
because I was like, Shane's on top, but he's like,
bounce, straight to the bottom, slip and slide and ride.
Shane is on top. We've got like cowboy Shane happening, but he's also bottoming, you know?
Ilya calls him Hollander.
Hollander.
Shane loved it when Ilya used his last name the way he'd used to before, back when they used to fuck, but before they were this. Shane lifted a bit and sank back down, earning another groan. He grinned at the man he loved and said, hold on to something, Rozanov. I know that there are plenty of people who have not read this book. They don't plan to. Some of those people might even be listening to us talk right now. And like, this is not, no disrespect to you if that's you, but I think that's bananas, crazy pants behavior. Coming off of that, I think there are also people who are just in the show fandom who are going to go into season 2 and be upset by the continued use of the last names because I feel like they're going to see it as a regression. I don't see it as a regression. I see how you could play it that way. But because the whole pivotal moment is the first names, I do feel like there are people who are going to go into season 2 and be upset by this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even though I was just like, guys, we're back to situationship behavior. Like, I don't think this is that. I think this is when they're having fun, they're going to still call each other by their last names because like that's what they do. That's what they do in hockey. They're competing here. They're having fun. It's like they're playing around. And so they're busting out the last names, which is funny. I also think Ilya comes immediately the first time Shane calls him Hollander.
This next quote is hysterical. Love your dick, Shane panted. He had one hand planted on Ilya's chest, the other gripping the back of Ilya's left thigh. Love taking you like this. And Ilya says, you just love exercise.
Hilarious.
Brutal.
You need to say it how it's implied. You have to say it's like, you just love exercise. Because it says, Ilya gritted out exercise. And I just find that the funniest part. He's like, in pleasure, he's like, oh, fuck, don't come. But you gotta finish the joke.
He's like, this one's a zinger, Rozanov. You gotta get this one out. Oh, God. And so Shane starts really teasing Ilya and like trying to work him up and like,
you gonna come for me?
Yeah.
And then when Ilya says it's too soon, he like starts going a lot slower. And so it's just like he's having fun.
And he's like, oh, is this enough? And then Ilya's like, I don't know, is this enough? And Shane's like, it almost kind of is. I love devious Shane, like taking control and actually having fun while having sex. Because that's another big difference from heated rivalry to the long game, is in heated rivalry, he like needs sex. He needs the release of an orgasm. Here, he's doing it for like the enjoyment of the process and enjoying having fun with his partner. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
As a difference? Okay, I was like, does that only make sense to me or are other people understand? Okay, so, but also like, again, this is that moment where I was thinking we used to use sex to communicate and now we use it to avoid doing that.
I'm thinking of especially like the very first sex scene we get in the Heated Rivalry book, which is actually like takes place in 2016, like in that prologue where Shane is like having sex with Ilya and hating himself the entire time. Like he no longer has that shame around sex and is like fully able to just have fun, which love. Ilya placed his hand on the back of Shane's neck and pulled him down until Ilya's lips were against his ear. I think, he said in Russian, you need to be fucked properly.
That was the sound of me screaming into my pillow because what the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god.
And it's indicative of the following sentence in which Shane gets flipped around, put on his stomach, and like fucked it, face pressing into a pillow, fucked good.
Yeah. Bruh, he flips that thing down and reverses it like God damn.
And then like it doesn't take much longer after that. Like we're yeah. And I appreciate the detail that Ilya is pounding into him, making the headboard slam against the wall with every thrust. I'm like, good for them. Good for them.
I was clapping. I didn't wait. That was me applauding. That wasn't like clap. Sorry, hold on. Shit.
If we ever get Rachel Reid on this podcast, I want to ask, my number one question is, what is Ilya's max weight hip thrust? Like the exercise of the hip thrust. I need to know. I need to know roughly. I need her to come up with a number. I need her to tell me a number right now. How much fucking force that man is putting into Shane's ass.
If I had to bet, a lot. I bet Ilya is in the gym doing hip thrusts thinking about how good he's going to fuck Shane.
I just read a fic in which they were at the gym and Ilya was doing hip thrusts and Shane's like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, no, don't look.
Friends, friends who go to the gym, it's really hot to send your partner you doing hip thrusts of their weight or more than their weight. Just saying. Anyway.
Ooh.
Ilya doesn't pull out immediately. He carefully lowers himself until he's almost resting his full weight on Shane's back, breathing hard against Shane's neck. And for several long moments, they just breathed together. When he did this in heated rivalry, we got the beds all dirty. Mm-hmm. Now the bed's all dirty. Mm-hmm. And then like, my thought here was like, Shane Hollander is an emotional grower because that's growth.
Eventually, Ilya began peppering Shane's shoulders with gentle kisses. We love aftercare. And his softened dick slipped out of Shane's body. He kissed down Shane's spine in an adoring way that made Shane sigh happily. All right, gang, here we go. We just had the great sex. I can't wait for them to emotionally open up and talk about their problems.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for them to open up and talk about their prostate. So Shane tells Ilya that he loves him, and Ilya notably does not say it back. I've actually thought quite a bit that in this book, that's a common thread, especially during sex. Shane says, I love you, and Ilya does not say it back, which I thought was really interesting.
That is interesting.
This is the first of many times that it happens. I
do want to he track loves this that man so bad.
Yes. And I just like, I was struck by the fact that I was like, he doesn't say it back. And so I want to track and see, like, as this keeps happening, because it's going to happen again, is there a common thread?
Yeah.
So also Shane reaches back and clumsily searches for Ilya's hand, and Ilya takes his hand, and that to me is like soul-meltingly cute. Like, I'm done for.
And Ilya goes to get cleaned up, and Shane is just kind of loose and sleepy and wonders if it's even important to go clean himself up or change the sheets or any of that important stuff. But Ilya comes back and is like, no, you hate to be dirty. Go clean up.
Oh, to be loved so well that your partner reminds you of what you think and feel when your brain is mushy.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that he's like, I'm not going to let Shane lay here like this. Like, I am going to be like, Shane, come on. Like, 'cause I think in a lot of like fics and things, it's like them, like Ilya trying to convince Shane to stay. And I'm like, Ilya loves Shane best because he is like, Shane, get up. You can rest in a minute. Get up. He's like,
Shane, this isn't so close by Baby 00. Get up.
God.
Oh, God. Fuck off. No, you just Googled that fic again to see who wrote it, didn't you?
Oh, no, I have a committed memory at this point for the bit.
Oh, okay. So
I commented on their fic being like, I bring this fic up on my podcast constantly.
Amazing.
But I just was thinking, like, Ilya is definitely the kind of, like, friend as well that if he went out with Svetlana and she got drunk, he would, like, make sure she had makeup wipes and make sure there was water next to the bed. And, like, he would take care of you, you know? And this is the, like, make sure you take your shoes off, you know? But he's like, Shane, get up, go clean up. But it's also noted that Ilya is gone for longer than normal.
I'm sure everything is fine and nothing is concerning.
Everything's fine. God forbid a fella got to piss.
I do think it's peak romance that while Shane is cleaning himself up, Ilya changes the sheets.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But also, when Shane comes back, he's sitting on one side of the bed staring at the wall. So not great. And Shane asks if he's okay, and Ilya says yes, but he sounds distracted.
As an expert, because I have depression. This is
what?
Like a big red dissociative red flag here, right? Like this is like Ilya's having a moment that a lot of depressed people have, right? Which is you have all these big, good, exciting emotions and feelings. You get that rush. And then the second it's over and the second that he's no longer skin to skin with Shane, everything just comes crashing down. The foundation is sand. Your mental health is like built on sand. And they're like, this is almost exactly what we saw in episode 6, after the sex scene in episode 6. And it cuts to Ilya just like staring at the ceiling. Like he's just not there. This is the moment for like cuddling and aftercare and pillow talk, but Ilya is just not there. And it's just that moment of, oh, I just had all these really good, happy feelings, but the second they stop, oh, everything sucks.
Yeah. And I do think it's very interesting that we don't have Ilya's point of view here, because I think it would be very dark and perhaps along the lines of some of the thoughts that he is having in chapter 7, which we will get to. Like, you know, you kind of have to fill in the blanks and recognize that, like, hey, things aren't great, because we also have like Shane goes to bed and then wakes up because Ilya crawls back into bed and he's like, I don't know what time it is. I don't know how long Ilya's been gone, but he does smell smoke. And so he says, you were smoking. Ilya says, no. He says, I can smell it. And Ilya kisses his shoulder and says, maybe your house is on fire.
Funny for me, however, just because I read a book recently that had so there's this book, right? There's this book that's called They Both Die at the End. Spoilers, the two main characters die at the end. And the way one of the characters dies is via their oven malfunctioning and like exploding instead of the apartment on fire. And the only foreshadowing we get to that is one line at like the beginning of the book that's like, damn, I gotta call the super to fix my fucking oven again. It's not working well. So me seeing this, that's like, oh, it's, you know, your house is on fire. I'm like, if I didn't know everything kind of ends up good, I'd be like, fuck, are they gonna die in a fire?
They're gonna die in a fire.
Damn it.
I'm thinking
why does this keep happening
like,
to my gay boys?
I'm thinking more like, I imagine, you know, Shane fell asleep. Ilya's just laying there. He can't go to sleep. And he's just like running through all the ways that like he's terrible and that he doesn't deserve this. And so he gets up and he like goes to have a cigarette and then like comes back to bed. And like, I feel like the leaving bed to go smoke is a red flag here. It's like, hey, Ilya, you good? The answer is no.
He, in fact, was not good. Narrator voice.
So that's our first sex scene of the book.
Woo! Slobbing on it. Robert, on a scale from soft clock to hard as a rock, how you feeling?
I hate you.
Thank you so much.
I have said numerous times on this podcast that I read smut for the plot, and that should have been a huge clue that I'm ace. Like, so I'm literally like skimming through this sex scene, being like, yeah, okay, he's writing it, schlobbing, yeah, get to the communication, get to talking, get to fixing your issues. What the fuck do you mean there's no fixing the issues?
Robert, we got a lot of book left, babe.
I like the bouncing. So, chapter 6.
It is October of 2020. We have a bit of a time jump here. So it was previously July. It is now October.
Happy actual Thanksgiving, as the very, very nice Canadians told us in the comments of one of our recent episodes.
It is October of 2020. We are in Ottawa. And we get just sort of one conversation in this whole chapter. And basically, Shane is about to leave to head back to Montreal. And they're having breakfast. And Shane's choice of breakfast conversation is to ask Ilya how many men he slept with.
This week, you mean?
Yeah. And so Shane looks at him, and it says his annoyance radiating across the breakfast table in grumpy waves. No, asshole. I mean, ever.
Shane, why are you asking this?
Why is Shane asking this question? My thought was, is it because he's leaving and his brain is like running away from him and anxious and like, how many other guys has he slept with? How do I match up? Like, what, you know? What? And so,
what in the butt?
Yeah. And so like even I have read enough Reddit stories to know that this is not a great conversation to just spring on somebody. Like, you can't do that.
Ilya says maybe he doesn't keep track. Shane says, never mind. And then Ilya waits. I love how he says this. Just long enough for Shane to think he's going to let it go before asking, how many are you hoping it'll be? This is like peak being annoying boyfriend where like you let it sit just enough where your partner is like, okay, fine, whatever, we're letting it go. So
Actually, not done with that.
not done with that.
But I will say, after the joke, I do have to say, like, I don't think that's a bad response. After the bit, after the joke of it, I think gauging the temperature of the interaction is a really emotionally astute choice.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you imagine him asking this in a serious tone, how many are you hoping it will be? That's a really great question to ask, because then you can gauge where your partner is.
Yeah, like what are you asking this for?
This question. Right, instead of being like, why are you asking?
This whole interaction, Ilya's like, there's a number. What's the number that would make you feel uncomfortable? Like, I wanna gauge
like,
this and
you
like,
should tell the truth, but
yeah. I'm gonna tell you the truth, but I also want to know like, how mad are you gonna be at me just because I slept with other guys?
Yeah, like how do we need to go about this? Because it's like, if you're hoping that it's like, if you're looking for a number that's a lot and it's less than that, or like if you're looking for a number that's not a lot and it's more than that, like how am I going about this?
Imagine if Ilya just said like, oh, 4, and Shane's like, 4, that's it, pussy.
So Shane then says he doesn't care anymore, and Ilya calls bullshit. And he says, it was clear from the tightness in Shane's jaw when he looked back up at Ilya that he cared a lot. You said there was one guy in Moscow. My coach's son? Yes, he was one. The first one? I said he was. Yes. You never said that. I mean, it was implied, I guess, but he was the first. Ilya bit the inside of his cheek, then added, possibly the best, too. You're such a giant dick. You know who had a giant dick? Ilya asked wistfully.
Okay, I'm gonna grab their heads and smack them together so hard, and not in the fun frauding sort of way. Oh my God. Stop being assholes for 2 seconds.
That being said, asshole Ilya is also another way where Ilya is being like, is one of his forms of communication. So like he's still answering the question technically. He's just also having some fun with it.
I don't know. I don't think Ilya wants to have this conversation necessarily. So I think he's kind of being a dick to try to get out of it.
Well, and I love that, like, after he says that, Shane gets up and goes to like wash his plate off, like in anger. He's always doing stuff with the dishes when he gets pissed off, because I'm thinking about also like the dishwasher after my dinner with Hayden.
I'm like, Ilya, stop him before he slams the dishwasher.
Can you guys tell what episode just came out that I like just listened to? That's why I keep referencing my dinner with Hayden. So then after he finishes rinsing his plate, Shane asks, was I the second? And Ilya says, biggest dick?
No, Ilya, you're the biggest dick. I
continued the quote here, but Camille made a note, because Shane says stop it, and it says Ilya made a show of picking up a point of toast.
Is that a typo? But like, I've never heard someone describe that as a point of toast. It's like triangle of toast.
Like a triangular toast, I think. Like, is that Canadian? Is that like,
is that Canada- a Canadian thing? Yeah, before someone calls us ignorant Americans again in the comments, can somebody let us know?
Rachel Reid, where did you get this information from?
I looked up point of toast, and it did come up and say a toast point is a triangular slice of bread that has been toasted after the crust have been cut off.
After the crust has been cut off?
But that's toast point, not point of toast. So like, I have never heard this phrase. I don't think it's a typo. I think we're just like, it's a triangular piece of toast. I think like it was written like that. But yes, Canadians, please help.
This is the Canadian poison for Cusco.
So anyway, Ilya is chewing on his pointy toast. And he's doing so thoughtfully, as if he couldn't quite recall how many men he'd bedded before Shane. And Shane folds his arms and says, I didn't think this would be such a difficult question to answer. And Ilya says, can you remember every goal you've ever scored? Oh, is it a similar number? Shane had scored over 500 goals in the NHL alone, give or take. Ilya, stop!
Here's the thing, is that like, yeah, it's like an assholey thing for Ilya to do. However, it's also kind of not super great that Shane Springs is on him right now. The best time would have been when they were like having all their heartfelt first conversations back at the cottage towards the end of Heated Revelry. That would have been like the optimum, like, hey, by the way, how many guys have you slept with? Just so I know this is real or whatever. But after dating this man for 3 years, I don't think now you can just suddenly bring up like, how many men were there?
The look on your face. Just that it's Shane. I want you guys to imagine Shane on the couch at the cottage.
That is the face Robert made.
The murderous look and just being like, how many men?
How many men were there? Can I see the menu, please?
The men I please are none of your business.
So you are pleasing men. Whoa.
Ilya's also like, what is his goal here?
Why is he trying to work him up so badly?
Yeah, because this is not like I'm trying to get you angry so that we'll fuck because Shane has to leave.
Yeah. So, like, what the hell is going on?
Is he trying to get out of this conversation? Is it like a self-sabotaging thing where, like, maybe we won't miss each other so bad if we're mad at each other?
Nope.
Those who know
I don't know.
this feels like Christmas. Tone-wise.
Hmm.
So Shane gets up and leaves, and Ilya asks where he's going. And Shane says, home. And he does have to go back to Montreal, but Ilya is not going to let him leave like this because, you think I'm an asshole. I would not leave you like that.
Yeah.
Shane says he told Ilya his number, and Ilya, as if Ilya had ever forgotten, yes, 2 men besides me, both terrible. Not terrible, just not. Ilya waggled his eyebrows. And like, we know from the context of Shane's internal monologue from the last book, they weren't terrible, they just weren't Ilya.
And Ilya knows that. That's what the eyebrow waggle is.
And then Ilya confirms, yes, Shane was the second. And then after there were a few since it was dangerous, so he couldn't do it often. It was a rare treat.
And Shane says, yuck. Yuck, yuck,
Yuck,
yuck.
yuck,
You
yuck.
yuck.
Ew, yuck. Get your stickers in our Etsy shop.
Ilya says none of them matter anymore. Shane says he knows. And Ilya changes the subject and says he'll miss Shane. Shane asks if he's ready to do another season of hiding.
No, he says, are you ready to do another season of this? And it says, Ilya's heart stuttered. What did that question mean? Another season of what? This is reminiscent of in My Dinner with Hayden, when Shane says, I hate this. And he's staring out the window. And Ilya says, the window? And then Shane looks at Ilya and he gestures between the two of them. And Ilya says, you hate us? It's so reminiscent of that. Like, Ilya is so breakable. He's so fragile right now. But I'm like, Ilya, you need to wear a fragile handle with care label because that's common sense. You can't expect people to know that there's glass in the box. You have to warn them. You have to tell your partner that you are feeling vulnerable. There was a moment when something happened while Mal was in town, and I preemptively was like, hey, Mal, I know this is kind of funny, but like, I'm not in a mood where I'm okay with being teased or joked with about it. So just preemptively, let's not do that because I'm going to get my feelings hurt if you do. You have to communicate those things before someone has the chance to hurt your feelings without knowing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think anytime that Shane comes close to implying that like what they're doing is hard and like he doesn't know if he can do it anymore.
Hard.
Like Shane has brought this up a couple times, but not been very clear about what exactly he means. And I think Ilya always takes it as like Shane is breaking up with me. And so this is about to be their 11th NHL season of hiding. 7 seasons of secret hookups, 3 seasons of being in a mostly secret committed relationship. And Ilya says, sure, he's ready for it. Shane says, I hate it. And Ilya says, I know. Me too.
But like Ilya hits it more.
Yeah, well then Shane says that he can't believe that no one has figured it out yet. And Ilya says, well, I am way out of your league. And Shane says, right. And Ilya says, who would believe it? Who would believe you if you told him? And Shane punches him in the arm, and then he captures Ilya's lips in a sweet kiss. And Ilya describes Shane as tasting like coffee and home, and wishing that Shane didn't need to leave. And I was just like, Shane Hollander tasting like coffee and home is so domestic, and also so dramatic, and so romantic. Like, that is so warm, and so soft, and I love that description, because that's like I can smell it, I can taste it, it's in my mind's eye.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster of emotion here. Like I'm watching them have this conversation about like how many men Ilya has slept with and being like, oh god, the drop is coming. And then now all of a sudden we're like saying the cutest, sappiest, most romantic shit. And I'm like, guys, I can't do this. How do you do this all the time?
I initially read this wrong. And the way I had read it, I'm like, ooh, this is an extra little punch, was that I thought this internal monologue of like, oh, he tasted like coffee and home was Ilya, or was Shane describing like Ilya's taste. And I'm like, and then I would have made a point of like, oh wow, that's the first time Shane's probably had coffee in a while. I don't know if you can have coffee in your super strict diet, but
he has black coffee. He drinks black coffee.
He had black coffee in like the first or second chapter, I think. But
depending on how good your coffee is, a nice black cup of coffee every now and then is great.
He's a millionaire, Robert.
And so Ilya says, you should quit hockey. Send them a text. Say you quit. Stay here with me. And Shane says, I'm not ending my career via text.
Does he say via or via? Canadians, do you guys say via or via?
I say via.
I'm not ending my career via text. I'm not ending my career via text.
Emailed in. I have to go. Another long kiss. This one a little less sweet, a little more urgent. By the time they broke apart, Shane was pressed against a wall, and Ilya's t-shirt was rucked up to his chest. Both men were breathing heavily, with flushed skin and semi-hard dicks. It's like, brother.
Guys, it's not the time.
But also, it's absolutely the time.
Yeah. But I was thinking, I love, and this is just a little thing, I love the word rucked. I love the description of his shirt being rucked up to his chest. I think that's a great word.
Rucked is a good word.
As opposed to the word plump, which, I was like, can you guys stop plumping up? This is serious. No plumping.
They'll see each other again in 3 weeks in Montreal. And we have a truly devastating quote here. 3 weeks wasn't such a long time, but Ilya was so goddamn tired of having their relationship sliced up into single nights with weeks between them. 2 nights in a row if they were lucky, except the summers when they were together almost every day, and Ilya's soul lightened as he soaked up Shane's proximity the same way his golden brown hair lightened in the sun. Ilya loved hockey, but he lived for the summers now. Summer was over. The NHL regular season officially started in 2 days. His soul would have to live on sun-drenched memories in the anticipation of stolen nights of explosive sex and tender kisses.
Ilya's priorities are shifting. Part of that is definitely due to the Centaurs sucking.
Mm-hmm.
It's also easier to prioritize Shane over his team when his team is absolute ass. But I love the image of Ilya being lightened by Shane like his hair is by the sun. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. It's like, it's such a vivid picture in my head. And also like sun-drenched memories. Because when you say sun-drenched, at least for me, I'm thinking of like warmth. Like if something is sun-drenched, when you touch it, it's warm.
The word sun-drenched is conjuring for some reason for me, like the dead wife montage in a movie. Where it's like everything is kind of sparkly and it's beautiful and you're like looking back on this beautiful thing, but like that this beautiful thing is gone and like that's what makes it sad. Like that's what I'm picturing here when Ilya's talking about like sun-drenched memories, and it's like it's sad.
That's interesting to me because sun-drenched to me, now I'm like, okay, again, listeners, you have to tell me what you think of when you think of sun-drenched, because to me, I'm thinking of like a film camera and like overexposed photos. Like the sun is too bright and you've got this photo and it's kind of hard to see things because there's just so much brightness, but it's like a happy summer memory. That's what sun-drenched brings up for me. Robert, does sun-drenched, like, do you have like an image of that in your head?
I'm just imagining somebody very sweaty.
Oh.
Real and true.
Way to kill the vibe. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, these guys are freaks. They like their sweat.
So now we're not having sex. So Ilya says that he loves Shane. And Shane says, love you too. And Ilya politely ignored the trimmer in it. Again, Rachel hurt. Ow.
Yeah.
Ilya is both physically and emotionally blue-balled right now.
Yes. And Shane says, okay, 3 weeks. Ilya says, 3 weeks. Text me when you get home. And I think text me when you get home is like one of the simplest expressions of love that there is.
That is the
like,
most simple I love you.
I love you and I want to know that you got home safe. Whenever my friends are like, text me when you get home, I'm like, okay, thank you for caring.
So I have two, I'm a dickhead. So I have 2 responses. People will say, text me when you get home. And I'm like, if I remember to, I will, because I will probably forget to. The second is people go, drive safe. And I go, nope.
I mean, my favorite, because I feel like I take a lot of flights. Like when people are like, okay, have a safe flight. I'm like, yeah, I'll do my best. Flying the plane. Every time I go to the airport, I encounter people who are experiencing their first day ever on fucking planet Earth. And like, I also am like, I have to be the most efficient person in this security line. Otherwise, they're going to take me out back and they're going to shoot me. Meanwhile, like the people next to me don't understand that their things aren't coming out of the machine because they haven't put away the fucking trays that are in the way. And I'm just like, but if I don't grab my stuff if I don't grab my stuff in 2.2 seconds, like I deserve to die.
I'm gonna be shot.
Like it's just the airport is awful.
Just to hurt y'all's feelings a little bit more, I do want to say Shane and Ilya at this point have each other saved in their phones with their real names because they are actual like friends now. So they would be expected to have each other's numbers saved. And also they probably can't share location because you have to think they have to take all the precautions of the idea of like, if someone happened to have my phone, they would be like, why the fuck do you have Shane Hollander's location?
So to bring the mood down, the last little bit
Let's
of this
kill the vibe.
chapter makes me very sad because it is Shane kissed him one more time and then he was gone. All right, so chapter 7. It is October 2020 and we start in Montreal. And so Shane is watching them raise the Stanley Cup banner and thinking about how Montreal is finally a dynasty hockey team again and how it started with him. I have a quote. He loved being a Montreal Voyager. He loved what he and his teammates had accomplished here, and he wanted to keep doing it for the rest of his career. He was an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, but he fully expected to sign with Montreal again. He didn't even want to look at options. This was his team. These were his fans. And those were his 3 fucking Stanley Cup banners. Someday his number would hang from the rafters too. He had no doubt that it would be retired here. He'd earned that. Even if he quit right now, he'd done enough to earn that.
Yeah, so I clock this and I'm like, okay, the saxophones are getting loud again. Guys, my spider tingles are sensiling.
I don't hear any saxophones. I think everything is totally fine.
No, reading this for the first time, I still remember, like, the only thing I could think was, there's not gonna be a swimming pool, you stupid slut. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, for sure. We also, like, we've never really heard Shane talk like this. And I think... Because, like, he obviously does a lot of, like, he knows he's a good hockey player. But this is, like, the most we've ever seen Shane, like, gas himself up and not be humble at all. And be like, I've done all this work, like, all of this is because of me. And, like, it is true. But this is, like, the most, like...
we've ever gotten. This is the exact same line of thinking I had when I made my prediction last time, like doubled down on my like, oh, there's going to be an evil coach theory. Cause I'm like, this is the first time we're being introduced to this. And like, this seems like kind of foreshadowing for like, oh, bad thing's going to happen, TM. I don't know what the bad thing is. I'm terrified.
To be fair, you said Weeb is the bad coach?
Weeb.
You did, yes.
Weeb.
I kept saying there was a bad coach. I don't know. We're going to get to new coach in a second who now I'm like, my contender for evil coach, but we're not quite there yet.
JJ asked Shane, you know what's better than 3 Stanley Cups? And Shane says, 4 Stanley Cups.
Fucking right. Let's get it. In direct contrast to the celebrations over in Montreal, we then cut over to Ottawa. And so they have the same fanfare, same music, same light show, the same hype videos.
When Ilya had played for Boston, the energy in the building crackled with pride and possibility, and the team had been making a promise to the fans to do everything they could do to win for them. The fans in Boston had expectations. They wanted champions. Ottawa's home openers were more like a preemptive apology. There were no promises being made here tonight, just a lot of fancy lights to distract from the fact that the team was truly terrible and would almost certainly lose this game and the next one.
And the next one. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
It kind of gets me that Ilya says this makes no sense, and on paper they have all the elements of a good team, himself included, and then he lists 3 elements of a good team, which like is not enough to make a whole team, but he says their new coach, Brandon Weeb, was untested and very young, but Ilya liked him already. Wyatt was a great goalie and was regularly stopping 40 shots or more to keep them from losing too badly, and then Ilya was still scoring plenty of goals, but it wasn't enough. He couldn't be a whole team.
Okay, first of all, stopping 40 plus shots on goal to me is craziness. Where the fuck is your defense if the other team has got 40 plus shots on goal?
Yeah, I'm like, no, your defense needs to step the fuck up.
I have never seen or been to a game where it's exceeded more than like 20.
Right. It usually is like around, I would say like 25-ish. I would say a decent game, 23, 24, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who, again, I know we have people who really don't care and don't know about hockey, on the scoreboard, they do track shots on goal. So it says SOG. And so you have your points, your actual scores. And then below that, you've got your shots on goal. And that's a really good way to track and see, like, compared to, like, yes, okay, there's a goalie, right? But how many scoring opportunities have we created for ourselves? And that's a really good way of tracking the team's performance. So shots on goal is a tracked number.
If you're shopping 40 shots a game, you're a magical goalie. And I love Wyatt Hayes.
And my thought was also like, okay, but like on paper, if you should be a good team, but somehow you're not, I'm going to piss some people off. Mayhaps I'm going to piss Mal off. Mayhaps Ilya really does need to lock the fuck in as the captain.
I think probably.
Like, yes, they need a better coach. This is Weeb's first game with them.
Weeb.
This is, well, you have to think they've had preseason games and then they've had, training camp and all that kind of stuff. But this is their first regular season game with Weeb. And Ilya has been the captain for years now.
Or is this his second season with them? Because he had one more year in Boston.
No, because I think during our episode where we tried to break things out, you were like, I think it could be his second season instead of his third. I don't think it needs to be his third season.
Oh, no, this is the start of his third season because it's been 3 years. So he had 1 in Boston, 2 in Ottawa. And so this is his third. Yeah. Right. I said the timeline is important to me. It is.
But yeah, sorry, Ilya, but I do kind of think this is their fault.
I don't think it's his fault. I think he is contributing to the problem.
Yes, I think he is contributing to this failure.
It's also very easy to come into something and like sort of adopt the expectations that are placed on you. And I think the expectations are, I think that the expectations are that Ottawa's going to lose and that we're not a good team. And so I think like not only Ilya has like adopted this, like I think everyone has. And like this team is kind of like, well, we're Ottawa. We're not going to win.
He's like, well, at least I did not let them down.
Well, I've done all that I can do.
When Ilya's name gets called, the fans do go wild because they really do love him here in Ottawa.
Woo,
which
Ilya,
is great.
Woo.
He takes his place in the circle of his teammates that they're making around the logo at center ice. And here's how the logo is described. The Centaurs logo was one of the many baffling things about the team, a cartoon drawing of a centaur playing hockey. Ilya wasn't sure how exactly that would work. It was sort of the perfect representation of Ottawa's team, though, a bunch of things mashed together that had no hope of winning hockey games.
Hot take. I hate it.
I think you hate fun, Camille, because to me, this is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't like the silly goofy of it because I understand that this is a romance novel, but part of me is just like, bro, come on. These teams do take their branding seriously. They're not all just out like...
I mean, I think it's one more element to the Ottawa is kind of not a serious hockey team. So Ilya's line mate and my close personal friend, Zane Boudrum, looks at the crowd and says, these poor bastards.
Ilya it's
says,
just the way he says it, which was great,
Ilya says, maybe we will win. And then Zane says, sure, maybe this will be the season we finally decorate the ceiling of this dump. And Ilya glances up at the rafters where there are exactly 0 Stanley Cup championship banners hung and says, maybe.
0. Count them. 0. Big fucking goose egg.
Oh, to be in the crowd chanting booed with other fans.
Yeah.
Also, as a hockey fan, big fan of the way so many hockey players' nicknames sound like boo when you're chanting them. Like, use. Boo. For our goalie, use. And like people will be with me and they go, why are we booing? And I'm like, we're not booing. It's his name.
I just love the big difference between the party that they're having over in Montreal. Like, you've got them raising their third banner, and then you have Ilya and Bood standing there like, maybe someday we'll get a banner. Right, guys?
Banner? I hardly know her.
It's the fucking Fairly Odd Parents meme, and here's where I would put my Stanley Cup banner. If I had one!
So then we go back to Montreal.
This was one fucking game, Coach Theriault said in his usual gruff, humorless tone. We've got a long season ahead of us, so let's not start jerking each other off just yet. There were murmurs of solemn agreement from the players in the locker room. Shane nodded along with them, agreeing with his coach, but wishing he could have used less homophobic wording. After nearly 30 years of a life in hockey, though, Shane barely knew what counted as homophobic anymore. I find it very interesting that you kind of have to read this 3 times to figure out if they even won.
Yeah.
They won, you guys, and they're solemn and being chewed out by their coach. They won!
My spider tingles are sensing again, where I'm like, aha, is this the evil coach? I'm so fixated on there needing to be like an evil coach, a villain, some kind. I will even settle for like evil hot dog vendor at a game. Like, come on. I want a villain, damn it.
I appreciate that Shane is like, the game was nearly perfect.
You
like
lost.
their goalie Drapeau only let in one goal, but coach is not happy with the power play. And Shane's like, I don't even know why. Like, we had 3 power plays, we scored on one of them. Like, that's pretty good. So, quote, this team strove for perfection always. It wasn't easy being a voyageur, but at least the hard work and sacrifice paid off. Only one team in the league had raised a banner tonight. He couldn't imagine being on a team like Ottawa. Ilya rarely complained about it, but Shane wouldn't be able to cope with the embarrassment of losing that often. It was a bit disappointing, if he was being honest, that Ilya didn't care more. He missed actually competing against Ilya. These days, there wasn't much challenge.
I don't own a baseball bat. Can I borrow one from someone?
Well, and I'm like, okay, you had me in the first half there, Shane. I was like, man, you know, like, there's a lot of pressure on you. Like, I feel kind of bad for you. And then he starts shitting on my close personal friends, the Ottawa Centaurs. And I'm just like, Shane. And it's also like, it makes it clear that, like, he doesn't understand what's going on with Ilya. Like,
he starts shitting on my close personal friends, the Ottawa Centaurs, and his long-term committed boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, all right, hold on. I was like, oh, hey, Shane, bud, have you tried asking him about it? Have you
it's
tried
the way that
asking him how he feels about it?
The way that he assumes Ilya doesn't care.
Yeah. And I'm like, Shane, have you looked at him and said, hey, that was a really rough game? That must have felt awful.
Yeah.
Have you tried being fucking real with him about it? Like, I am allowed to talk to Shane this way because I love him and because I can also defend him in the same breath. But I'm like, Shane!
And, like, okay, I think the reason that people, like, dogpile onto Shane so hard is because, like, there are a lot of ways that Shane messes up. And I think, you know, you can't, I'm the number one Shane defender. Defending Shane Hollander is not enough. I need a gun, etc., etc., etc. I have to also be ready to admit, like, when Shane does fuck up. And I do think his attitude towards his boyfriend's team here is not great and is part of the problem. Also because, like, it was your idea for him to go there.
Hayden says, Coach didn't cheer up any over the summer, huh? And Shane says, he's our coach. He's not our friend. And he says it almost automatically. And Hayden nudges him.
Like,
and
that's
he says,
something he's had to convince himself over the years.
Right. And also, like, he's had to defend his coach's bad behavior so much that it's second nature to him to, like, not even think about saying it. And, like, I hate it.
But also to censor my spider tingles, he's our coach, not our friend. Very, very fun thing to say about a character that I suspect to be evil.
Decidedly not your friend. So Hayden says, you didn't cheer up any over the summer either. And Shane scoffs, which doesn't make him sound any more cheerful.
Shane, you good, bro?
And this dressing room is so morose. Like, yes, these are y'all's careers and it all matters a lot, but also your careers are literally to play games. You're playing games.
Well, and I think about, like, Shane's conversation with Rose in the show where he's like, he's talking about, like, being 8 years old and, like, being on the ice and, like, back when it was still fun. And she's like, is it not fun? And he's like, no, but it got more intense. So, like, I think at this point, like, hockey is not fun for Shane in the way that it once was. And I don't know if he even has kind of reckoned with that. But I do think, like, part of his feelings towards Ottawa likely have to do with the fact that, like, the most fun he ever had playing hockey was, like, getting to play against Ilya. And, like, now he doesn't really have
he
that.
Doesn't
and
really
so it's
get
kind
to
of like
play against him.
Yeah,
because Ilya doesn't have good defense.
What's the point? Is this even fun? Like, I think, like, the vibes are just, they suck. They're bad.
Yeah, it's not a challenge.
And Hayden asks Shane if he wants to get lunch tomorrow after practice. Shane says his meals are planned for the week, so Hayden asks if he can just get takeout and hang out at Shane's because he, quote, just wants to hang out, you fucking doofus. And Shane goes, shit. Am I a terrible friend? Probably. And yeah, I think, like, this is, I just appreciate this.
In defense of Hayden, this is really good communication from Hayden because he's asking to hang out. And then when Shane very clearly misses the point, Hayden explains the point to him and doubles down and asks again, like, okay, fine. Then I'll bring something over and I'll eat separately from you. And I just want to hang out with you, idiot. And I love that.
Yeah, I do think, like, this is a good friend moment from Hayden. And I will admit that.
adapting to Shane's needs, literally.
Hayden asks if he's sure he's not going to be busy with ... Shane says no, they won't be seeing each other for a while. And then it says Hayden didn't look too sad about that. And I'm like, fuck you, Hayden. You were just being such a good friend. There's no like, oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. Like, I know you must miss him. Like, just, Hayden.
Okay, but also, like, they're in their locker room, and he is kind of like...
No, I know. Yeah. But I'm just like, every time it's like, I'm reminded that, like, Hayden is not supportive of this relationship, really. It, like, pisses me off.
But it's not because he's homophobic. It's just because he's a hater of Ilya.
Well, yeah.
I would counter and say he is supportive of this relationship. He's just kind of a bitch about it.
Kind of.
He's just putting on a show the same way that Ilya is.
Because if he wasn't supportive, he would have probably outed them.
If you thought that Hayden was hot, you'd be more forgiving of him. Just saying.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think we should forgive men's bad behavior just because we think that they're hot. But when I do it with women, it's fun and it's sexy.
You just said you wanted a gun to defend Shane Hollander.
No, but I said that I want a gun to defend Shane Hollander, but also I can recognize when he fucks up, okay? That's what I'm saying. Okay, but anyway, so Hayden wonders if Ottawa won tonight and pulls his phone out to check, and Shane's like, God, I hope so. Ottawa, of course, lost. But our baby Luca Haas scored his first ever NHL goal.
Luca.
And so, to really contrast our coaches here, we have Coach Wiebe giving his post-game speech. So, not the result we were hoping for, Coach Wiebe said. His tone was almost apologetic, as if it was his fault they'd lost. As if this team hadn't been losing all the time for basically its entire existence. But I saw a lot that I liked out there tonight. Wyatt, amazing game. Ilya, can I just say it's a pleasure to watch you up close. Incredible. And where's Luca? Across the room from Ilya, Luca shyly raised his hand. The difference is crazy. The fact that,
they just lost.
His tone is, apologetic, as if it was his fault that they lost, versus, over in Montreal, he's like, the power play sucked. We gotta fix that. And it's like, okay, but you won. You scored on the power play. What?
Mm-hmm. Robert, how are you feeling about the difference between, or no. How are you feeling about Wiebe?
I am feeling great, honestly. I'm like, okay, who is the evil? It's either actually Wiebe is evil, or it's that Wiebe isn't evil and the other guy's evil.
Maybe
and I'm
he's evil.
So someone's evil. That's my hope. That's my genuine hope that somebody is actually evil.
Evil Weevil. Weeble's evil, but they don't weeble wobble.
I hope Robert gets a villain.
I want a villain. Give me a villain.
Future right here, Bood announced loudly, ruffling Luca's short, sweaty hair. He handed Luca the goal puck and everyone cheered. Not for the first time, Ilya wondered why the hell Bood wasn't the team captain. He was basically the team's social director, head cheerleader, and he'd been a Centaur since his first NHL game 6 seasons ago. Ilya was a shit captain these days. He barely went out with his teammates, and he hadn't gotten to know any of the younger players. He felt like ripping the C right off his own jersey and handing it to Bood right now.
I mean, compare this to Montreal, who was nodding solemnly, and here they're having a party celebrating this goal. Love that. I also think Ilya is a little bit of an unreliable narrator when it comes to his own role on this team. I'm not saying that, based on the things that he's pointing out, that Bood maybe wouldn't be a better captain, particularly the, not getting to know any of the younger players. That's kind of... But, when we actually see Ilya interact with the players, he does a really great job as captain. I think there are a lot of ways that he's dropping the ball, but I also think he is harder on himself than, everyone else is.
Mal, your note, basically, because you didn't really expand on it, your note was just unreliable or... You're just unreliable narrator, Ilya Rozanov. And my note was, I'm going to disagree with you because I don't think he deserves it right now. But here's the thing is again, depression.
Mm-hmm.
Depression. Overall, right now, he's not a good captain because he isn't being social. He's not getting to know the rookies. He's not positioning himself as the leader. And furthermore, he's letting someone else do it for him and then just going, oh, I'm not being very good right now. And I'm like, okay, then change that. You recognize it. So change it.
But I also I think about, and this is why I think it's so important to read Role Model and The Long Game together, because I think about seeing Ilya from not his own POV, when you get both Harris and Troy and the way that they see Ilya, it's very different from the way that Ilya sees himself. Mm-hmm. And Like, I do think, like, there are definitely things that he needs to improve, but I also think that, like, Ilya is harder on himself than anyone else. And so he's thinking he's a worse captain than he actually is. But there are ways he can be better. Ilya watched his teammates laughing and chirping each other as he began to remove his gear, feeling a million miles away. He used to be the center of this sort of thing, dancing in the middle of the room to make his teammates laugh. Now he only felt a bone-deep exhaustion that couldn't entirely be blamed on the game he just played. Ilya, bud, you good? He's not.
So Ilya talks to the press, gives them some pretty basic statements, but mostly everybody wants to talk to Luka again because
and then
first NHL goal.
We get our first Harris appearance.
Howdy.
And so, yes, in the timeline, this is our first time seeing Harris, but the book role model would have come out like before the long game. So like people who had read the whole series, I guess when this came out, like would have been like, oh my God, my close personal friend Harris, which is also like how I feel about Harris. But I love that he opens with howdy because I went to Texas A&M for college and howdy is a big thing there. And when I like went to my like student orientation my freshman year, and I was like, I'm never going to say howdy. I'm never going to say howdy. That's cringe. Like, I don't want to be that Southern. I hate that. And then by the end of the first semester, I was like, howdy, howdy. Like, I love howdy.
I say howdy all the time, but I say, I'll say howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah.
Howdy, how you doing? You know, I intentionally say howdy, how you doing? You know?
And so I think this little interaction does indicate that Ilya is able to turn it on for his team when he needs to. And he's like, because he just said like he doesn't feel like being the center of attention, but then he has this like little interaction with Harris, which is like lovely. And then he has a lovely interaction with Luka. But like here, he's he asks Harris if he needs a shirtless picture of him for Instagram. Harris says that would probably get a few likes. And so then Ilya does a couple silly muscle man flex poses, showing off his biceps, and Harris starts jokingly fanning himself.
With how buff and built Connor's gotten, I can almost guarantee you he knows how to do these poses. And I think he should do them. He should actually be doing them if we get the scene adapted.
I also would like to point out Harris is not taking pictures.
No, right?
Ilya just does this.
Ilya's just doing this.
No.
To be
he's
silly.
Taking pictures.
Yeah,
He's taking pictures with his
to make the
mind.
team laugh.
No. He's taking
being
pictures with
silly.
his
He's
mind.
being the life of the party. And I think that like the Centaurs don't know the Ilya who was captain in Boston. And I think that also might be part of it. Like they only know boyfriend Ilya who's like dealing with depression. And this is likely the worst that it's been, but like we don't know that for sure. But like I'm just clearly they love him and clearly he's like great. I think like he's harder on himself than anybody else because he's like I'm not the life of the party, but then you'd like see him immediately being the life of the party. And I love that Harris is like, I need to sit down. I'm about to swoon.
I really like that Harris is exactly where he's emotionally needed at exactly the right time. I love Harris. I really do. I just think Harris is like my soulmate because we both have open heart surgery scars. And I'm like, make sure that scar is there. I want to see that goddamn scar.
I love Harris. And so does Ilya. He says if anyone could improve his mood in a hurry, it was Harris. Everyone on the team loved Harris, which Ilya appreciated because Harris was openly gay. He wasn't sure Harris would have been as warmly accepted in Boston. He wouldn't have been invited to team outings, that was for sure. So again, I love the well-meaning himbo allies Boston headcanon, but canonically doesn't seem to be true.
Yeah. Robert, ring the bell. Thank you.
Canonically, I think the teams that we know that are safe are New York and Ottawa. But also, I guess, we've never actually seen an out queer person with Boston. We actually don't see much of Boston at all, which I think makes it very easy to just like kind of, again, I think part of the fun of this book series is that there are so many things that are just not written into the book series that so you can fill in the blanks however you want. And that's why this, like, the fanfic, I think, has really popped off for this kind of universe because there's so
many
much
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, there's, like, this is a very fun sandbox that we've built that has a lot of room for other people to come in and, like, also add their little sandcastles to, like, the main sandcastles. Like, it's just, it's a lot of fun.
Harris invites Ilya to go out to Monks with the team, and Ilya says, maybe. And Harris smiles in a way that lets Ilya know that he knew he wouldn't be there, which is so sad. He stands and he pats Ilya's shoulder, which is a bit of a reach for him. He was even shorter than Shane. Jeez, come on, bro. Shane is 5'10".
Yeah, Shane is not that short.
He's not short. And Harris says, I'd better get out of here before you take your shorts off and I actually combust. And then Ilya smiles a little bit and he says, do you even work for this team or do you just hang out in the locker room? And Harris winks and says, don't tell anyone.
And this is so important to me because this is the way that queer people talk to each other. And so in my heart, I'm like, Harris has clocked Ilya as queer and they're just like being cunts together. And I love that. The teasing that's like, oh, are you just here to look at us in the locker room? Like that is the kind of teasing that like could be homophobic, but like very clearly is not here.
Right. I think that that's a big, I think that like for Harris has always loved the Centaurs. And so I think that for Harris, it's a big deal for the Centaurs to be headed up by someone who is not uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Harris loves hockey, right? So I'm sure he's used to homophobia and insults and all that kind of stuff. And so to be in the locker room and to have this big, hulking Russian captain of the team teasing him about being attracted to men in a lighthearted way, chirping him. He's chirping him. And I love the fact that Harris gets to participate in the team's chirping. And I love that Harris knows that Ilya is safe because Ilya has made it known, I am safe. Mm-hmm. You're safe here, right? I love that. I love that Ilya has begun to build that world, not just for himself. Like I've said before, I think he's building it for Shane, but to build it for Shane, he has to build it for other people. Mm-hmm. And I love that.
Yeah, the Ilya Harris friendship is so near and dear to me. My close personal friends, Ottawa Centaurs, being a found family is just important to me. And I don't know that they actually are just because of the way that Ilya kind of separates himself. Mm-hmm. But like, I see what they could be, and I see what I hope that they will be in Unrivaled.
I know what you are.
I know what you are, and what you are is found family, which is my favorite trope.
I know what they are, and Ilya is the only one that isn't a part of that, and it's because he is literally separating himself from it. We'll find that out in what, like a couple chapters? Next chapter? I don't know.
Soon. So Ilya goes to take a shower, and then he comes out as gay.
What?
He comes out.
Whoa!
Coming out of the shower, and
that's not even correct. He comes
coming
out
of the shower, and I got my dick out.
No, he comes out of the shower, and he finds Luca sitting in his stall, smiling at his puck. And Ilya says they can get it made like a trophy. And he says he can't think of the English word, but like, what word is he looking for? Like, what is the word for making it like a trophy?
Memento.
Or like mounting it. I put a picture actually of what you would do to a game puck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fuck, we're mounting.
Okay, stop it.
Awesome. Luca gets all embarrassed and says just one goal. And Ilya says he still has his in his trophy room at home. Luca, you're a little sweetheart. I love you.
He reminds me of so many rookies. And also like some of my favorite players are Swiss. So I love him.
Is Luca like 18, 19 years old, something like that?
20.
Something like that, yeah.
I think it's 19 or 20.
Maybe. It's just because
Something
this is
like
exactly the kind
young.
of conversation. I love how this is like, I'm an old seasoned pro, let me show you the ropes. So I remember my first puck. Ilya, you're less than 10 years older than him. Stop old manning yourself.
Yeah, you were like at most 10 years older than him.
But also as an almost 30-year-old, anyone who's 20 looks like a child to me.
Yeah.
Hockey players age like dogs.
Because the sport is hard on your body.
I was thinking that this is very much like Ilya practicing to have a son. This is Ilya practicing speaking to younger men, right? Like speaking to people who are still very malleable. And I think that part of hockey culture, Mal, I made you watch Code of Misconduct. Mm-hmm. And I think a big part of changing hockey culture is when they still are malleable. You get in there and go, hey, this game is great. It's a lot of fun. You've got a team. You've got people you love. It's very much a family. But just because it's been this way where we talk about women this way and we behave a certain way and we haze each other in certain ways doesn't mean we've got to keep doing that. We've got to change it while people are malleable and like open to understanding that maybe that's not actually how things are. Mm-hmm. Because the people saying, it's just boys being boys, they're always older people. or it's a younger person like repeating what they've heard someone older say. So I think that boys being boys, that phrase stops when you stop the boys, right? You tell the boys, nope, that's not what boys do. And so Ilya being there for Luka in the NHL as his mentor, as his captain, is very important, that he can be like, it's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to feel a little sappy about your puck. I feel sappy about my puck.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think that's important. Also because, I mean, we know just based on the fact that Rachel was planning on writing a Luka book, that like Luka is also a baby queer. And so just to have like Ilya to look up to is just...
And also we know he has a massive crush on Ilya.
Well, yes, he also has a massive crush on Ilya, for sure.
And so to have this queer rookie who is definitely still closeted. I love that like we've talked a lot about how fic gets to fill in the gaps. I love the idea that like, well, I mean, I think this is wasn't this the reason that Rachel didn't write a book for him, is because she was like, there's no stakes. He's safe. There's no big thing, right? I mean, how cool is it? And yes, I know it's fictional, but how cool is it to have now got 6 books and you've made it to the point where you've made your universe and the characters in your universe grow and made them safe in a way that you're like, ooh,
homophobia is over. We've solved it.
I solved it. I don't think there's no more hate for them Asians. Like, like, I think you cured racism. Rachel Reid, I think you cured homophobia in the NHL.
Yeah, no, and I hope with all my heart that Luka Haas gets to kiss a boy in Unrivaled.
Oh my God, yes.
So Luka says that room must be very full. And Ilya grins and says very, but the first goal puck is my favorite. And it says Luka's cheeks pinked, making him look even younger than he was. Really? Yes, because it was the beginning, you know? Soon you will have a room full of NHL pucks and trophies, but Ilya picked up the puck. It all started with this one.
It starts with one.
I love discussing heated rivalry. I love discussing the trials and tribulations. But this book, there's so much meat in all of these different interpersonal relationships because there are so many more of them at this point. Like, you can tell this is the 6th book. And it feels so good, you know?
Yeah, because it's like we've had 5 books worth of content leading up to this, and so like we know all these people, and just it's so good, and that's why this is like the only episode I think in the plan that we are going to talk about 3 chapters, because there's just so much. But chapter 6 is just so short that I was like, this is really the only way it fits. But like, just, there's so much great stuff. So Luka says he wishes that they won, and Ilya almost says he'll get used to losing soon, but decides that that's not the message that he wants to send to his rookie, which again, good captaining.
Yes, and I think that 2 things can be true at once, and those 2 things can be that Ilya is not being a good captain, and also that Ilya is a good captain.
Yes, I think, yes, he is not
I never said you
captaining to his
were
full
a
potential.
bitch. I said you were acting like a bitch, you know? Like,
Right.
I never said he wasn't a good captain. I said he wasn't acting like a good captain.
Right. No, and I think that that's true. I think his personal stuff is really starting to get in the way. And, you know, we have some stuff to work through. We have a lot of conflicts to work through in this book, and it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. Ilya asks if Luka is going to Monks, and Luka asks, are you? It hurts Ilya's heart how badly this kid wanted him to come out with a team, how much it would mean to him. He knew Luka had idolized him growing up. He'd read the interviews, but Ilya just couldn't. Not tonight. He didn't have the energy to even fake it tonight. And like, yeah, the thing is, he has depression. That's depression. But also,
I'm in Spain without the S.
Me with my 29-year-old brain is like, yeah, no, dude, we just like played hockey. I want to go home and like chill with my boyfriend and cuddle and read a book and go to sleep. Which is ironically also what Ilya wants.
He's like, Shane Hollander and Dostoevsky. I don't know.
I think it's very interesting. Again, we have like, this chapter is like made of contrasts. And so we're just contrasting Ottawa and Montreal back and forth. But I think taking like what happens here with Ilya receiving this invitation to a social engagement and turning it down versus Shane, who was invited to lunch with Hayden and initially turned it down. But Shane has that relationship with Hayden, and Hayden knows him well enough to recognize like why he turned down the invitation and to like work through it so that like just the difference in the way that these rejections are handled. Like Shane has people who understand him and understand like why he gave the answer that he did and like are willing to fight through that to like try to spend time with him versus like Ilya, when he says no, he doesn't have the relationship with anyone in Ottawa to like even have any of them know that they need to check in on him and be like, hey, you good, bud? Like, I mean, you have Harris who like obviously knows like when Ilya says maybe it means no, he knows him that well, but he doesn't know him well enough to recognize that like Ilya's not okay. Ilya's not okay. And like, I think even if someone had checked in on him at this point, he would have been like, no, I'm fine. But like, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have someone who's willing to like take the no and be like, I know that there's something deeper going on here. Let's figure it out, because he doesn't have those relationships in Ottawa.
Yeah. I can relate to this a lot because I think that like as like when I'm in the depths of my depression, I more than anything want someone to check on me, but I don't want to have to say that I need someone to check on me. I just want someone to know that they should check on me. And I think that's one of those things where it's not totally rational. It's totally possible to like have people that are on the same wavelength, or like as a religious person, I think that like there have been moments where I'm super, super upset. And like, I mean, you could even call this mother's intuition, right? My mom will suddenly call me and be like, are you okay? Or she'll text me and be like, do I need to pray for you? And I'm like, whoa, how'd you know? Like, or I've had a friend reach out and you'll be like for me, I'm like, oh, God put me in their brain at that moment. God was like, this person, text her, you know? And so for me, I think that's part of the struggle of depression, is having to battle that like, I can't expect someone to check on me just because I haven't texted back as much as normal or whatever, because people have whole lives that they're trying to live. But it doesn't change the fact that I desperately want that. And it causes me a lot of pain when I feel like because the way my brain warps it, because of my brain's chemistry, is my brain is like, you don't matter enough. That's why. People don't know your patterns, and so they don't know the difference. Because you don't matter enough. That's it. I'm going to be very real this book about my depression. So I hope y'all are ready for that. It blows my mind that there are people who don't have depression, because it's just it affects every part of my life. So I like seeing it represented so well in Ilya. I think it's represented really well with Ilya because it's very subconscious with him.
I mean, and yeah, I think that's kind of exactly what he's thinking. He's like, I'm not a good captain. I don't deserve any of this. Like, I don't deserve to go out to the team, and like, or I don't deserve to go out with the team. And, you know, none of them are like fighting for me to come out because like they don't care enough about me. And like, I would just bring them down and like, just, ugh.
You're like, they don't know you're queer, bro. That's why.
I will say though, this chapter, like, it feels very cinematic, like a TV montage. Like I can already see it in my head, like how you would put this on a TV screen, like Montreal raising their cup banner, cut to the quieter Ottawa arena, and they're talking about how it might be nice to finally decorate our ceiling. Cut to both teams playing some hockey. Cut to probably actually when they're playing hockey, you probably have like Montreal scoring a goal, and then you have like Ottawa getting scored on.
I was thinking like Shane checking someone into the boards, and it cuts to Ilya being checked into the boards.
Yeah, something like that.
So
someone's winning, someone's losing, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about like this wonderful, like delicious montage that this could be.
Yeah, cut back to the locker rooms and you see Montreal's end of the game speech, and then you see Ottawa's end of the game speech, and like you just see the differences. Just like, it'd be so fucking good.
I know you can do it, Jacob Tierney. I've seen you fucking do it. Like, come on, I know you can do this.
There are occasionally things that I'm just like, oh, Jacob's gonna eat this up. This is one.
Yeah.
Jacob, come on the pod anyway.
Yeah. So we have to read the last little bit of this chapter, and I'm going to read all of it because it's so much. Later in bed, Ilya couldn't get his brain to shut up. It was unfortunate because his brain had nothing nice to say about him. He knew rationally that he wasn't worthless. He was an NHL All-Star, the captain of his team, and was beloved by fans. He had a wonderful boyfriend who loved him so much he was willing to endure a lot of stress and sneaking around just to be with him. He was loved. But he wasn't sure he deserved to be. He couldn't make himself believe that. Not right now. He wished Shane was with him. They'd only been apart for 2 days, but Ilya would give anything to have Shane in his arms right now. Weak. His brain said it in his father's voice, disgusted and cruel. Ilya grabbed his phone off the nightstand. Maybe he was weak, but he needed whatever he could get from Shane right now. A sleepy selfie, a goodnight text, a heart emoji, anything.
Oh boy, it's just so heartbreaking that he's like, his dad's his internal monologue for his dark thoughts. That's fucking buck wild. And then B, he's like, I'm settling for anything, man. A sleepy selfie, a goodnight text, a heart emoji. Like he's settling, that's less and less effort.
Yeah, and like I feel so sad for him and like worried for him. And like I've read this book before, but I'm just like, oh God, he is like so not okay.
So maybe this is a hot take. I actually don't worry for him here. I think this is sad, but I don't even think this is dark. I think this is just a pretty typical like bad depression brain nighttime stewing session. This doesn't even feel that dark to me because I think about this shit like all the time, which is really sad. But like I'm on antidepressants. I'm good, right? But then sometimes I lay down to go to bed and I'm like, I do not mean as much to people in my life as they mean to me. They will never understand. It will never be equal. This just feels very normal to me.
You're being very rude to my friend Camille.
Yeah, I was like, hey, fuck Ilya. Camille, are you okay?
Yeah, that's just how my brain works, you know? I'm just like, no, nobody's like,
But I mean, okay, you say like, I'm on antidepressants, I'm good. Ilya is not.
Right.
So that I think is why I'm worried for him, is because I know that he's dealing with this alone. He doesn't have a support system to help him with this because like he is isolating himself from his team. He and Shane are separated. And even when he and Shane are together, he is not bringing up like the things that he needs from Shane. On that note, early the next morning, Shane woke to find a missed text on his phone, sent after 1 a.m. Ilya, are you awake? Shane huffed and shook his head. Was Ilya ever not horny? Ugh.
I need everyone to know that like when I was listening to this on my way to I think at this point I was listening to it on my way back. I had set up because I listened to the Spotify audiobook just because I pay for premium, fuck it, whatever, take advantage of the free audiobook. I had it set to like, okay, please stop reading it to me after this chapter. And once this chapter finished, my fucking mouth was agaped and the fucking silence in my car. I needed a good minute to be like, I can't believe that's how this fucking chapter ended.
Uh-huh.
Oh, how did you feel towards Shane in this moment as someone who's never read this before?
Out of context, he doesn't know what the context is. He only knows horny, apparently. And like, I need Rachel. Rachel's like writing the next book is like after this one, timeline wise. Like, no, I kind of want to know more about those 3 years we didn't get to see Shane and Ilya. Cause I'm like, what the fuck do you mean they don't have any sort of communication skills? Like, not even sex is good anymore.
Oh, the sex is great.
I meant for communication.
I initially am like, God, Shane, what the fuck is wrong with you? But then I'm like, no, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. And this is his second misread of a plea for non-sexual connection from Ilya. But Ilya doesn't communicate those needs outside of sex. Like, of course, Shane is going to misread it when, like, sex is the only thing that Ilya ever really asks for. Because I think that's the only thing that Ilya thinks that he can get from Shane, because sex is kind of mutually beneficial. Like, we both benefit from this. And so, like, of course, I can take this comfort from you because, like, you are also benefiting. Like, I am also giving you an orgasm here. So it's fine. I can ask for this. But, like, I don't deserve to have you come and, like, help me when I'm feeling down like this. Just, Ilya! And I kind of wonder maybe if we had Hayden ask if Shane was going to be busy with Ilya, like, after practice tomorrow, because we're implying that, like, hey, Shane, like, does have room in his schedule. Like, if you reached out, if you were like, hey, I really need you right now. Like, I know it's only been 2 days. Like, I'm having a really hard time. I'm so sorry. Like, I think Shane would have made room in his schedule and would have become busy with ... you know, like Hayden asked. Like, I think it's like Shane doesn't know what he doesn't know, you know, and Ilya's not asking for what he needs. And it's just like, oh, it's frustrating. And I'm kind of mad at both of them, but it's like, I really shouldn't be mad at either of them because, like, it's not their fault, but it's like everything is just compounding in a way that just, like, makes this awful. It's awful.
I can defend Shane, but I'm still fucking pissed at him. Even after reading this like 17 fucking times, right? Like, I still read this and just think, fuck you, Shane. Like, I can defend him, right? But at the same time, I'm also like, dude, fuck you. That's such a mean-spirited thought to have. Context or no context? Yeah.
I mean, Are You Awake does read kind of like a booty call, and he doesn't get any additional context.
But this is his boyfriend of 3 years.
Even if it was a booty call, he should still have been like, okay, hey, sorry I didn't answer your text yesterday. What's up?
Well, we don't know that he doesn't do that. We don't know that he doesn't respond and be like, hey, I'm so sorry I wasn't awake. Like, what's up? We just get his initial thought. And like, I can admit I sometimes have not so great thoughts about things initially, and then I have to be like, hey, wait, that's not fair, and then fix it. Like, I think we're getting kind of the worst initial thought from Shane here, and like, it sucks, and God, but ugh.
Robert, people online think that Rachel wrote Shane out of character in this book, specifically scenes like this. They're very mad at her for writing Shane this way. I personally don't have an issue with Shane being written this way. I think that it makes him very dimensional, but like I still think it's good to be pissed at him. I will never not bring up, there's a Reliant K song, and one of the lyrics is, you know I'll always love you, but right now I just don't like you. I'll always love you, Shane Hollander, but I don't like you right now.
I feel like this is within character of Shane. Not to say that like Shane's ever been like a bad character or a bad person. It's just, it's going in one year out the other for him. It's something he's not processing in a way, mainly because of his neurodivergency.
You're such an asshole. You're such a dick. You're a massive dick. You're a giant dick. Rolling
That's
his
just how they
eyes.
flirt.
He's constantly doing that to Ilya. Now, I don't think this is flirting, but I'm like, okay, how many times has he rolled his eyes at Ilya? Why would this be out of character? And I'm sure someone's gonna, I don't know, maybe someone will have a thought on that. Please be nice about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little harsh on him. I think, because I would imagine most of the time when Ilya is texting him late at night, it is to have phone sex. And so I think he's like, well, why would I not assume that this was also for phone sex? And it's like, wow, he's texting me at 1 a.m. Is he ever not horny? Like, and I think the Shane huffed and shook his head. Like, you can read that as like a huff of disgust, or you could also read that as kind of like an endeared little like, yeah, he's texting me late at night for sex. Like, he's so horny, haha.
Oh, that Ilya like, Rozanov.
Oh, my boyfriend. He like, I don't think he's being malicious here. And I think like he's clearly got a lot of outside pressure. Like he's in a pressure cooker partially of his own making, but like also you see what his team is like, and you see like the pressure that is being put on him by this coach and just by everyone in his life. You also see like Hayden have to very specifically spell out to him that like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, dude. I'm looking to hang out with you. Like, I don't give a shit about the food. Like, I think, again, like Robert said, we're not even talking about like the autism of it all. Like, you gotta spell things out for him. And I think people don't have a lot of grace for Shane. And I think partially it's because his struggles are less baby girl-ifiable. Like, it's so easy to look at Ilya struggling and be like, oh, he's so sad. And like, we feel so bad for him. And Shane here in this book, like, it seems like he has everything. Like, he's got friends on his team, or at least Hayden. He's got the cup banner. He's like playing good hockey versus like Ilya's playing on a shit team. Ilya doesn't really have any friends, but it's also like the amount of pressure that is on Shane is like, it's huge. It's huge. And he is also struggling. And I think people overlook that, and they're just like, Shane is an asshole because Shane has everything. Shane has a perfect life. And it's like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He also has shit going on.
But Shane is sort of out, and it didn't go perfectly, but it went fine. Ilya is still the one in the closet. Ilya cannot come out of the closet because Shane has kind of like put rubber bands around the handles and been like, don't come out yet, stay close. And I'm not saying that's malicious, but like there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, because every time someone finds out Ilya is bi, they're like, so you and Shane?
You and Shane Hollander? I have put 2 and 2 together, and I have come up with the answer of fish.
You haven't come up with shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately they both have their own issues that they're not dealing with. Like Shane needs to deal with this anxiety and fear that he has.
And internalized homophobia still.
Yeah, he needs to deal with all of that. And Ilya also needs to get help for this depression. And like it's affecting their relationship because they both have these issues that like they're not dealing with. And they're also not talking to each other about. Anyway, TLDR, defending Shane Hollander online is not enough. I need a gun. People don't understand him like I do. And I stand with my canceled wife. Yeah, that is my close personal friend, Shane Hollander, and I understand him perfectly.
Robert, how you feeling?
I am feeling... we're still so early in the book where like I can't get a solid grasp on a lot of things. I see all the lanes that are being
soft.
like... Shut the fuck up. I can see all the different lanes and paths diverting towards the like end goal. And I'm like, okay, which ones are actually going to lead towards the end goal and which ones are just like things that we're going to take care of in a couple of chapters, which one are things that are complete red herrings. I still have it in my fucking brain of like evil coach or evil fucking hot dog vendor or whatever. So
is there
I'm
anything
like,
that you suspect might be a red herring? Right
the
now?
other red herring, I didn't mention this at all, I just realized, was the photographer guy, fucking what's his name? Harris, where I'm like, is Harris going to be the reason they get outed? Because I think I know they get outed in this book, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of different avenues. They're also notorious for like kissing in places that they probably shouldn't be kissing because like they're really pent up. So I'm like, the pieces are getting pieced together. Oh yes, it's all coming together.
Well, any final thoughts from anybody else?
I feel like our long game episodes have been
long.
like, they're long and they're also just kind of like a bummer. Like, I feel like we're laughing
I think this
less.
is so interesting. No,
I think
we're
they're
laughing
so
just
interesting.
the right
Interesting
amount.
and it's funny.
No, I think they're so interesting, but I was listening to our My Dinner with Hayden episode because obviously, like I said, that's the one that has come out most recently, and so that's the one I was re-listening to. But I'm like, God, that was so much fun. And I just feel like this is like, I'm having fun analyzing this book, but I'm like, God,
She's like,
it's not funny. It's not funny.
Chrissy,
It's
wake
too
up.
real.
I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up.
Yeah.
well,
Whew. The
we
long
have
game. The
another
game is
recording
long.
to go do. And it is 9 p.m. Central. So we're going to wrap
So
up
long,
here.
fellow losers.
We're going to wrap it up, tap it up, do another one, wrap that up, tap that up. If that's all, so long, fellow losers.
The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. This episode was edited by Robert. You can find us on Threads, Instagram, and YouTube at Pit Crew Podcast. If you feel so inclined, please consider supporting us by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/pitcrewpodcast. You can also find our merch at Pit Crew Shop on Etsy. Our art is by Rand Pacoca. He can be found on Instagram at Rand Pacoca. All patient questions and concern can be emailed to pitcrewpodcast@gmail.com. This isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.